Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Gamer Social Club podcast. My name's Fraser, or Phrase, or F-Bomb, or whatever it is that you want to call me. I'm joined today
You
with,
know how it feels now.
right, with probably the hottest dragon of all, the one hot dragon, Nathan. How
Hello,
are you, my
everybody.
friend?
Oh,
I'm
I'm
so,
just phenomenal. Not you. I'm
phenomenal.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm, I'm, I'm glad you can make it this morning, dude.
Me
Like,
too.
on
I
or
didn't think I
this
was going to be able to
afternoon.
make it.
No, no. And Russell, fantastic to have you back, my friend.
Yeah, had to take last week off. Wasn't feeling super hot.
Yeah, there's something going around. I know that we're in completely different countries, but like we've had some sickness here as well. It's been fucking brutal. And Eddie, mate, it has been a long time. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes, it has been a while. I was going to admonish you for saying good morning, but I realised it's like 1 a.m. here, so it technically is morning. So, yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
so morning, afternoon, internet time zone things.
Yeah.
Well, so Eddie, it's been ages since like we've spoken.
Yes.
You had that amazing stage show with old Mr. Rubberlegs.
Oh, yes, Mr. Well remembered.
Yeah. So, like, what's been happening? Have you got anything else in the works?
Well, the rubber legs stuff, the Slice of Saturday Night, the show that I did, it went very well, and we got standing ovations both nights, which was incredible.
So good.
Like, I was beaming,
That's
and it was
Yeah.
it's the biggest part I've had in my career as an amateur performer, sort of thing. But our theatre group's doing a panto next. Oh yes, we are. And so we're doing a sequel to Jack and the Beanstalk, Jack and the Magic Rope Ladder.
Okay.
So it's like it takes place after that. The Golden Goose has stopped playing and the Golden Harp has stopped playing. So what will we do? We'll put on a talent show. And of course, nefarious villains are coming to steal those items because they're very precious and what have you. It's just it's very silly and lots of fun. So that's what we're working on there.
That sounds amazing, though. Those are the kind of shows that I love. Like I did drama at school.
Nice.
I had a very like weird schooling kind of situation. Like my school was one of those schools where like if we can make it happen, we will. Like you don't have to take English, you don't have to take maths, you don't have to take science. You can do all the arts. Like beekeeping was a subject. Like we had like wild things. So like towards the end of my schooling, I took all the arts as well, and so drama was like I was this weird little like nerdy quiet kid, and like drama just completely like opened up my life, and it was such an amazing experience. Like we did like King Lear, we did Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat, but it was more of like a modernized version. So like I can't remember all the names and all the parts, but they're like I think Joseph ended up being like an Elvis impersonator, and there was this whole like it was so much fun, dude. Like and just hearing how well it's going for you is so cool.
No, I can empathise what you're saying as well because I used to be a little introvert, and then I went to stage school when I was 11, and it just turned my life around. It just brought me out of my shell and who I am today and all that jazz.
Yeah, right. And it's so cool. So what have you been playing? What have you been doing? Like it's been so long, man.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I've been very busy with uni. I've just started a new uni course, so I'm working on that.
Wow.
So it's kept me busy. I've had my first assignment handed in this week, so that was good. I've got that out of the way. But I've been
in the same kind of tune as the work you're doing at the moment, or is it like something?
It's related to the health service that I'm working in. It's to train me up in leadership and management and stuff like that. And it's like a condensed course. I get like 4 qualifications in 2 years and stuff like that. So it's
cool.
It's kind of like streamlined, but it's really good, and it's kind of a gap in where my experience is. So it's been good to get back into that. Although writing in an academic way again is something I thought I'd never do. So just to be like,
dude, I know. Like I said, like I dropped English as soon as I could. Like, you want me to write something? No way. And what am I doing now? I'm like writing reviews and like articles and stuff. Maybe I should have carried on doing it.
But in terms of what I've been playing, I've been actually jumped back onto Forza Horizon 4 because they're obviously it's being delisted off the stores in December, is it? I think something like that.
See that, yeah.
But it's the final season this month, so it's the last chance for us achievement whores to get some of the kind of playlist specific achievements that relate to like the seasons and stuff like that, because they do like specific achievements related to that. So I've been trying to knock those out, and obviously I've been playing Deathbound, as well as I think that's pretty much it. I've just installed Valorant because I know that's dropped today, so I want to give that a go. But that's pretty much it at the moment.
I read your little write up on Deathbound.
Yes.
Tell us more about it. It looks so cool. Like it looks so cool.
Yeah, I was really surprised by it actually. I'm a bit of I'm more recently come into Souls games, like the last couple of years. But when it said party based Souls game, I thought, oh, it's gonna be like all multiplayer, like it's co-op Souls type.
That's exactly
thing.
what I thought too.
I was like, well, it's like they kept pitching it as like the first party based. So I was like, well, it can't be because like Elden Ring is pretty much co-op. It's like it's which what does it mean? And then obviously when you dig into it, it's actually there's no multiplayer in it. The party is your character, and so how it kind of works is that it's your character wrapped up, quantumly entangled, shall we say, with 3 or 4 other souls. So, it's 4 souls, and that's your party. So, like, you find these dead bodies around as you explore in the kind of different levels and stuff, and you kind of absorb their soul, and the kind of life force of them is brought into that body. So you can switch between the different character, and they're kind of like, "Oh my god, I'm back alive! What's going on?" And then they're talking to each other in their own head, sort of thing. So it's like one being with like multiple people within it, but you can switch between each one as you need to. So like your main guy you start with is your classic sword and shield guy, and then you come across this kind of like stealthy rogue who's got like a crossbow and like a stab you in the back one, but she's the only one who can stab in the back that I've found so far. And then you just encounter more characters that build on the story and the lore, but they've got different allegiances to either the Church of Life or the Cult of Life or the Church of Death. And like quite extreme kind of views, and the Church of Death are like, you're a heathen if you don't believe us, that sort of thing, and that sort of thing. It's really cool. The combat is very satisfying. Once you nail it, it's a bit weird to get to grips with it to start with, because it's very, you just want to, you pick your favorite character, like, oh yeah, I can feel the dynamics of my sword and shield and parrying and all that sort of stuff. But you run out of stamina really quickly, because the idea is you switch to your other character because their stamina's not gone down. So I switched to the guy with the spear because her stamina's there. So then you're chaining your combos through different styles of battle. And if you build up your sync meter, you do like this, what they call a morph strike. So then you do like a more powerful attack, but it's like really dynamic in how you switch over, and then you just carry on fighting and stuff like that. And you can do dodges in the same way, so you can switch your character over as you like switch, and that feels really cool. You slide out the way and you switch to another character, then you go back in with a different attack and stuff like that. So it's really cool. So there's a lot of mix, rather than having to like, oh, this particular combat I could do with my bow and arrow out or whatever else. I haven't found anyone with a bow and arrow yet, but instead of having to like do inventory management, you just switch to the character who's got the thing you need, and then you start doing ranged or what have you and stuff. And it's pretty tough. I mean, like a good Souls game, it's it'll give you a challenge and you have to do a bit of grinding. There was a boss that was kicking my ass at the moment, so I managed to just go do some grinding and just circling the level and farming souls, and I beat it now. I carry on making progress. There's some really cool like stuff in there, like nothing. Like the party bit is really like the unique thing.
Yeah,
but it's really cool how they built it. I'm really enjoying it so far.
So when you say you switch between the characters, is there only one character on screen at a time, or is it more like Marvel Ultimate Alliance where like they're all there and you just hit the D-pad and you kind of switch to the?
No, it's just one character on screen. They're all there again. D-pad, you switch to it, but it is like kind of like you just switch to it, so your character changes. If you're doing it out of combat or you're not doing it mid-flow with a morph change sort of thing, you kind of just go I'm changing, and then it switches over. There's a bit of a delay, so if you do that when someone's bearing down on you, you're gonna get smacked. Like,
right.
So you've got to be careful on it. But that's why it's really cool to like try and be dynamic, dodge out the way, then switch over and come back in. when it flows and you're like switching between your characters, it feels really cool. But it's a very different way of playing, like from my perspective, because you so used to just like hammer it back off, get the shield up, but actually you can't do that because it forces you to switch between the characters. Because the other thing is the health element to this.
Yeah.
So if your health is your stamina, so if you've got a lower health bar, your stamina's lower by default as well. But when you heal, the one character you just healed with one of your like revive thingies, not revives, like your health pack thing. Your other characters lose some health.
Oh.
But then whilst if you're the active character and you do some damage, your other characters get health back. So it's kind of there's a lot to the health system in it, and it's kind of like just healing doesn't get you out of the situation because there's another character you might need to switch to in a second might have 0 health, but that character might have a revive. So if they die, you can bring them back without like dying sort of thing. So it adds quite a lot of layers, and I'm really liking that to it as it keeps expanding and stuff like that. It's really cool.
It seems very like real layered. So like if you die, it's game over. You don't like just switch to like another one of your.
No, if any one of the characters dies, you have to spawn back at your bonfire. I think they're called phylacteries. It's a really weird spelled word, but I think it's called phylacteries. It's like a tech thing. So you spawn back there, and you have to go get your souls or whatever else. But so yeah, it's really cool.
That sounds cool. Like it does sound like something a bit different because, like you said, there's so many Souls games out there now, and there seems to be heaps of like Souls games and heaps of roguelites. So for them to be like something different is
and the way that they've done like the health system and the whole having to switch between it makes the enemies a bit more like. I don't feel like many of the enemies are like, I can just walk through these because like some of the starting encounter some of the big ones, or like there's some on all fours that are quite fast, and you're like, ooh boy, because they're not as simple, and if they just get you in the wrong thing or they trap you against a wall or something like that, you are done. Because your health isn't the same as if you had like for the other characters. Obviously, you've got a skill tree type thing, so you bump up your characters and stuff, and any skills you get applies to all of the characters. So like anything bump to your melee or your health and stuff, everyone gets that. So if you find your new character halfway through the game, they're not starting from scratch, sort of thing. So it's well thought in that way.
That's very cool. Like, is it what's it available on? Like, is it?
It's coming out. It's on PC, PS5, and the Xbox Series.
Oh, so it's cool. Okay.
How much would the game cost? Is it like a indie game?
It's like it's mid pricing. I think they priced it. I mean, I'm going off dollars. It's $30. I think it is. The deluxe edition's $33, and there's like an ultimate edition. I don't know how much that is, but it comes with some like includes the DLC that's coming out as well in the future. They've just announced that. But yes, it's not overly priced. It's not like it's not full on. They say it's about 20 to 30 hours.
Okay, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah. It's like there's 20 to 30 hours, there's side quests, and there's lots of things to find and discover and stuff. So I don't think for a second I'll see everything in one playthrough.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a new game plus like Souls where you like new game 1. I haven't got there yet, so I couldn't tell you. But yeah. The review will be out ahead of the embargo. Sweet. Well, not ahead of the embargo, for the embargo.
I would hope not.
The whole point of the embargo, don't break the.
So
you said it's coming out on the 8th?
Yes, 8th of August, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's the achievements / trophies look like? Or do you know since it's embargoed?
No, well, like the ones I've unlocked so far are like completing certain tasks, like some unmissable ones, like beating this character or surviving this ambush type thing, or whatever else. There's I'm obviously can't talk about the stuff that's past the preview because embargo, but there's certain things like I don't think you get it if you didn't succeed, sort of thing, or whatever else. And yeah, it's cool. I haven't looked at all of them yet. I know there's something for completing all the side quests, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's about 37 or so like that. So decent number. Keep you playing.
Cool.
Okay, that's awesome.
We've been talking heaps about achievements recently and like what they kind of mean to us.
Yes.
Like some people just like have got zero interest in them whatsoever.
That would be me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Russell was talking about that earlier, wasn't he?
Yeah, Russell, like, you guys are fucking weird chasing these achievements. It's like, I need them.
I love them, mate.
seriously-
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
Yeah,
such
I
a
love
weird thing. Like, just hearing that ding, I'm like, oh, I'm progressing. Things are happening.
Serotonin.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so good.
like for the
So
longest time, I felt like I wasn't even playing a video game unless the achievement was just constantly popping off. And even
Yeah.
to this day, the thing that's I have this internal struggle that if I'm gonna replay a game, I have two options, right? I can go back to my old save and replay it again on Xbox, and I'll probably get one or two achievements, or I can focus on that. Sorry, my son's just chilling right by the microphone here. But you know, I'm either gonna just go ahead and replay with my old save, go into New Game Plus, and I'll have all my stuff, make the game experience a lot better, or I can start on a new platform, get brand new trophies, get brand new Steam achievements or something, and it's always like I never quite know which one to tackle. Especially considering like the thing that I've been facing a lot this year has been not like kind of wanting to revisit a lot of games. I've been wanting to revisit a lot of games this year, and yeah, I don't know. It's a constant struggle being an achievement hunter / trophy hunter.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Russell, mate, you've got it set.
I think y'all need to just let go.
Yeah. Yeah, that will not happen. You have to peel those achievements out of my corpse before I let go of them.
Of course,
To be clear,
no, what were you gonna say, Addy?
all I was gonna say was, for me, I'm not playing, My Little Pony 2 to get the achievements. Like I like to play. I like to get 100% of the games I'm playing, but I'm not
been there before.
Any and all games and achievements I can find. But anything I would play, I'd like to try and get as many of them as I can, because for me, it's trying to get the most out of the game. I do hate like the grindy ones. I know we were talking about pet peeves and stuff like that. Like, oh, let's do this for no other reason than because we've made it an achievement, and I hate that. But actually, if it's the last of 50 achievements I need to get, I'm not leaving it either.
Dude, I feel ya. Our community game of the month this month is Mad Max, and I think, have we all played it before?
No, this is my first time playing it too.
Yeah. So I played it on release, which, do you know what? It's quite an old game now. Yeah. I can't remember the exact release date, but like can someone, we'll look it up real quick. I think it could be.
I'm looking it up now.
It was. It was pretty early in the 360, wasn't it? Or
I'm pretty sure it's like going on like almost 10 years.
1st of September 2015.
There we go. So almost 10 years, 9 years. That's insane.
Damn.
So I played it like 9 years
Dragon Age
ago.
Inquisition.
Stop. I've got one achievement left to get on that. So like we're doing this like playthrough for the social club, and I'm like, do I want to do a playthrough or shall I just grind out these challenges? Because I've got 10 challenges left to get, and Eddie was saying that like some of them you can't get anymore. Luckily, I've already got those ones that you can't get anymore. Good. And I've just got the ones like, destroy a certain vehicle with a certain vehicle many times.
How can you not get the same challenges? Did they like take them out?
They were tied to an online
like
thing that they've stopped supporting now. They just turned it off the leaderboards. So I mean, like, I don't think that they should be allowed to do that. If you're going to have achievements like that, if you're taking the online service off, you need to make those achievable in some way, because otherwise your game's like...
Just give them to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're calling a multiplayer game, just pop them for players who... Give me close Gears of War Ultimate Edition and give me seriously 1.0. I'll take that.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I know there's a list out there somewhere, and honestly, it'd be a good idea for an article. But there's a list out there somewhere of games that have unattainable achievements now, or like the rarest games to platinum that can no longer be platinumed. I'm sure Halo 3's on that list now. which is crazy. Which also shout out to the Halo 3 shirt that Fraser was talking about last time. He's got it on. And then also, Addy, are you wearing the E-Day shirt that has sold out multiple times?
No, because it sold out before I even got a chance to buy it. I'm wearing the one, I think this is the COVID one that they released. It's the Never Fight Alone one, which has got
Oh, sick.
Yes.
Oh, I
that
know.
is
Okay,
cool.
yep. I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing that. It's amazing.
That's so cool.
Dude, I did what if the eBay. I had a look on eBay earlier today. Actually, like 70 quid. Like,
Oh my god.
25.
Jesus.
Just print some more.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money for.
Yeah.
My
That's
goodness.
crazy.
I actually I bought a special edition of Skyrim off eBay for 25 AUD,
Wow.
and it still has the t-shirt that came with it,
Oh wow.
wrapped and never worn, and
Oh,
my
love that.
size. And I was like, this is fucking insane. Like
The gods were smiling on you
they
this
were.
day.
They were absolutely smiling on me. Russell, let's move on to you, mate. What have you been doing? You've been doing some fun stuff, according to Twitter. I'm
I'm not sure what specifically you're speaking of. Is this
we're
Fallout
talking
London
we're
related,
talking
or is
Fallout
this
London. I have not
okay?
had
I
a
was gonna say,
I've
or is
not
this
had a
stuff that
chance
could
to
okay?
do it yet.
I was gonna say, or is this stuff that could get me in trouble with Nintendo again?
No, let's not get ourselves in trouble with Nintendo yet. We're not big enough to.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't. To be fair, I'm not giving people links to anything, so it's not like we could get in too much trouble with Nintendo. Let's just say I've been playing some very unofficial PC ports.
Yeah.
One of which I had to compile myself. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, as Fraser alluded to, I've been playing a lot of Fallout London lately. It So it reminds me a lot of Fallout New Vegas, both in good and bad ways. And what I mean by
Right.
bad is it still has a lot of bugs. I've been able to sidestep a lot of those by downloading the Buff Out 4 mod, which is originally for Fallout 4, and it patched out a lot of the bugs that were in that, and it
Yeah.
carried over to Fallout London, and it seems to solve a lot of the issues. There's still some crashing here and there, but it's not
Yeah.
nearly as egregious as it once was.
Is it just like full on crashes, or are you getting like some weird stuff happening?
Since I put the buff out patch in, not a lot of weird stuff. It's mostly just hard crashes, and it seems to be much like Fallout New Vegas at launch. It seems to be isolated to certain parts of the map.
Right.
But other than the crashes, which again, if you're playing a game on a Bethesda engine, you learn to expect at this point.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah.
Apart from that, I'm having a blast. I'm considering asking Dano if this might be a little unusual because it's a mod. I'm considering asking him if I can review it. To be honest.
Oh, dude, I don't think there would be any sort of problem with
but
that.
between covering the last Fallout 76
Yeah.
content drop and then all the coverage I've been doing with Fallout London, I guess I've kind of become the unofficial Fallout guy on the website. It seems like.
Yeah. And it's like London's been in the works for years. I remember
it was. I'd have to look up the trailer. I think it was announced 3 years ago, and there was some rumblings before that.
Yeah. So what's without giving away like spoilers and stuff, like what's the gist of it? Is it just more Fallout but in London? Like what?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
There is it's definitely like as far as the map goes, it's definitely, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's definitely a reskinned Fallout 4, which you'd kind of expect.
Yeah.
So the average Fallout player who hasn't spent as much playing Fallout as I have probably won't notice most of it. I'd have to check my Xbox profile. It's been a while since I turned my Series X on. I think I've got something ridiculous like 2 weeks into Fallout 4.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna notice things that certain others aren't, and I couldn't, since it's over PC, the 360, and the Xbox One/Series X. I couldn't tell you how much time I have in 3 in New Vegas, but
Just a
so I play a lot of
cheeky
Fallout.
hour or two.
Yeah, I play a lot of Fallout. So the average person's not gonna notice that. For any Americans playing, if you feel bad that you don't understand some of the jokes, I've already had to like look certain stuff up on my phone and been like, well,
Brilliant.
that's a reference to something that should be funny, but I have no idea what the hell's going on. And then I look it up on my phone and then I chuckle and I get back to playing. But yeah, I would highly encourage anyone interested. Obviously you have to be on PC. I went ahead and just rebought the game on GOG since it made it a little bit easier. There's ways to make it work with Steam. I'm trying to get it working on the Steam Deck. It's not quite as easy as just downloading everything. So hopefully I can get that. Yeah, hopefully I can get that going. You can get Fallout 4 running pretty well on the Steam Deck, so I don't see why you wouldn't be able to, but we'll. And I think actually Steam Deck HQ has a guide to get it working, so I just need to pull that up and read that.
It's cool how like they've put in so many resources to like help you get it working. Like,
yeah, I mean, so I guess I can talk about this now. As Fraser kind of knows, I got some news about Fallout London a few days before it launched. And I don't want to get anyone in any trouble, so I'm not going to mention any names. I've been in the Discord for quite a while. Let's just put it that way. And it's from no one that was on the team. It was secondhand information, and they had mentioned that the GOG page had got mentioned, and then a possible release date had got mentioned, and I just shrugged it off. I was like, whatever. You're fucking. I don't barely know you. You're pulling my leg. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then the day that he said the GOG page was going to go up, it went up, and I was like, oh shit.
And then it was released like the next day, wasn't it? Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got pretty excited when that GOG page went live. I was like, oh shit, I might have some actual real info, but I couldn't. So I didn't want to get anyone in trouble. So I didn't really say anything till afterwards. But from what I understand, since this was pretty like as official as a mod can be, there were actually NDAs in place, which if you watch when the GOG page went live and the rumors of the release date started going around, you'll notice the team was only reposting stuff about that and wasn't actually commenting on it.
Yeah.
Smart little assholes. But yeah, so there was actually NDAs in place from what I understand.
Interesting. Yeah, that's
yeah.
cool.
And I also can say, being a member of the Discord, this might not be. I don't know. I have no official, like I know that this is coming. This was a test run for GOG. This is not. Doesn't sound like this is going to be the last time they try to host a big mod like this.
Okay.
Which, as someone on PC that gets into some of the shadier side of things, will say, I'm a big proponent of game preservation.
Yeah.
So like here, and I'm not expecting them to like obviously list Nintendo ROMs. I don't think they'd be that stupid. But as far as like hosting bigger mods and stuff, we've got so there's another mod. There's two more big mods I'm following for Fallout, and I'm wondering if they might get some GOG love. One of them is called Fallout 13, which for those that know the lore of Fallout, it's based around Vault 13. And then there's another one. The name of it's escaping me right now, but they're taking Fallout 2 and they're dropping it into the Fallout 4 engine. So
wow.
they're basically taking everything from Fallout 2 and making it play like Fallout 4.
I'd play that. I'd definitely.
Yeah, I don't want to get
Yeah.
I don't want to get anyone's hopes up because
No,
mods like that get dropped all of the time.
Yeah.
It's just part of. Some of us that have been following Fallout London for literally years are kind of surprised it finally got released.
Well, especially with like when Bethesda dropped that like next gen update and it like
oh yeah that
and it completely screwed them up.
Yeah. So to that, GOG, you don't really have to do anything. With Steam, you actually have to download a mod off of Nexus Mods that actually downgrades the game back to before the next gen update.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very very basic with my computer stuff, like as basic as you can get, and like how difficult is it for someone to like we can't just buy it, right? You can't just like go on buy Fallout 4 and download the mod
I mean,
and it works. Like you got to do some other stuff, don't you?
yes and no.
Yeah.
It depends. I wish I could come over to your house, Fraser, and coach you
Yeah.
with this shit.
Yeah.
So I'm
One
not.
day you can.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't consider myself like a big PC expert or anything, but maybe I'll send you some guides or something about getting Nexus mods working with Vortex, because the way Vortex and some of the more advanced mod managers work, some mods you have to have other mods to get them to work, and
Yeah.
this mod this mod manager Vortex will take care of all that. You download something and try to get it to work, and if you need something else, it will tell you.
Yeah.
And if you've got some stuff that is going to conflict with a different mod, or you're downloading something twice, it'll tell you that too.
Yeah.
Getting something like that running, you can download the mods, open the game's files, and just drag and drop the stuff in. That's what I did with Buff Out 4 with Fallout, London. But I mean, there's plenty of different ways to do it.
So I had loads of fun. I don't know if you guys played it, but that Sim Settlements on Fallout 4, that mod. Did you play that?
No.
No.
So Sim Settlements was like as the name suggests, it's all about the settlement building, and you put down a plot, and you can assign a villager to it, and then they live a life with that plot, and it evolves itself. So you just like pop down all these plots, like there's like shops and houses and hospitals and all sorts of nonsense that you can. What's that, Eddie?
I was gonna say it's like theme Fallout, like
Yeah,
theme hospital or something like that. Yeah.
And then you can have it so like I had one settlement that was just completely synths, and so my Red Rocket was like the hub of this trading thing, and all these synths live there, and you can build you build these plots and the houses, but they build their own houses and they're random, so it's very cool if you haven't looked at it. And the guy who I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I feel terrible with that because I'm like this mod is fantastic. He did the first one, and then he made some settlements too, and there's a full-on quest and stuff involved in it. And I think it's King Garth, I think might be his name. But it's cool. It's very very cool.
King Garth, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Just
but yeah, it's like it like creates this like random element to your settlement. So you go in, you put down these plots, and then you go off and you adventure, and then you come back, and people have moved in, and shops have opened, and guards are walking around, and it was a really cool mod, like really cool mod. And I actually think it's like console and PC, which is wild as well, because like
I struggle to play the vanilla games, let alone doing stuff with the mods. Like I haven't finished a Fallout game, and I really want to, but like Bethesda games are so massive. I'm like 300 hours into Skyrim at this point, and I haven't finished it. I mean, I've done Oblivion. I know I've done that. Like 1,000 hours or something, but like I want to finish Skyrim. But then I'll start Fallout. And still Starfield. Like I can't even fathom like doing additional things.
See, I can understand Skyrim and I can understand Starfield, man, but Fallout 4, man, you gotta finish that. The ending is so good. There's so many different choices to be made, and especially the twists and turns that it will take. I mean, I know some people say, "Oh, I predicted the ending," but I didn't.
I love the concept of Fallout. I mean, I love the psychology element of it all, like the whole experimenting people in the vaults and stuff like that. I bought Fallout 3 when it came out.
Yep.
I did the deal on the 360 where you buy each of the expansions and you get 800 Microsoft points back as a bonus for like buying all of it and the theme. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm up for that. I haven't played it. I've done like 10 hours in it or something. Like, what are you doing? I've done a lot of New Vegas. In fairness, I got quite a way into New Vegas and then entered into a cave where there's lots of death claws, and it did not end well. And then I didn't go back to it for some reason. Maybe I was traumatized. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe it was always death claws.
What's
So,
a
you guys wanna-
Microsoft point? I don't know. I'm too young to understand what a Microsoft point is.
Yeah.
I think just really outed me as really old.
Gen
You
Z,
do-
I'm
yeah.
one of you.
when we get into the 360, when we get into the 360 talk, we might have to put a disclaimer up. Okay, old man talk. Anyone
Yeah,
below
yeah,
this
yeah.
age
Yeah.
might want to leave.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
point.
good. Yeah.
I did have
So,
to
but
explain
you-
that to somebody actually, because I
Yeah.
had a barbecue the other week, and I always set up Rock Band when we have a barbecue. It's like a summit for people to play. And I've got Rock Band 4 on my Xbox with all the DLC. I've got like 600 DLC songs. I go, wow, you've got a lot of DLC songs. Like, oh yeah, well what happened was I used to work for Game, which is the main retailer in the UK. And they had these when GTA 4 came out, these Microsoft point cards, like a extra for buying the game. You got 800 Microsoft points on top of that. But there was loads of them, so our manager was giving them to us as like bonuses for doing a good job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I got quite a few because I was quite good at my job. But then there was an issue with the Microsoft points and on Xbox's side because they couldn't resolve it, where they basically some people weren't getting the points, so they basically they refunded everybody extra points. So everybody who's redeemed one of these cards got 800 extra for each one, and I had done loads. So I got loads of extra bonus points one day. I'm like, well, I'm buying loads of Rock Band songs and that. And I just kept on buying them. So yeah, I've got loads of. But I like to explain to somebody like the concept of Microsoft points. We didn't just pay with cash those days, back in the days.
No.
Yeah, you had to buy credit.
You had to
before you
buy a
could buy-
card, and then dude.
Yep.
And
And if you had like
so-
200 Microsoft points, or you were short by 200 Microsoft points, then you had to like spend $5, $10. Like, yeah, it was a bad system.
What was it, £17.50 in the UK for 2,100 Microsoft points or something stupid like everything cost 2,000, nothing was 100.
Yep.
They just left you with that.
Yep.
Right. I speaking of Rock Band, like I've been looking for like Guitar Hero for my 360.
Yeah.
Do you know how fucking much that is now secondhand?
I had no idea.
Ridiculous. So the
It
controller
is.
itself are anything from $100 to $200.
It's madness. It's
Which,
absolute madness.
which is fucking insane, because before the pandemic, those things were everywhere in
I
the
know.
thrift stores for like
Yeah,
just
I
a
know.
few
And
bucks.
Yeah.
you couldn't give them
Yeah.
away. And now that I'm looking for them, it's like, nah, you can't.
Nah.
Nah. And I
Yeah.
think like,
And I think
sorry.
No, I was saying, and I know there's like some of the like Guitar Hero Metallica and stuff like that
Yep.
would be like 70 quid or whatever, insane prices. But
Yeah.
what
But
it used
like
to be
the-
at $10.
The games themselves I can get for about $5, but the actual controllers and the drum kits and all that, astronomical.
And then finding a drum kit that works
Oh,
as well,
yeah.
because the
Yeah.
chances of it actually working is because they are delicate things.
And at one point the controllers had like a USB dongle that you had to like connect, and so many of these controllers are like $100, no dongle, and you're like, well, that's a faulty. I can't use that. Like,
Well,
why?
But not on 360 though. The 360 ones didn't need the dongle because they connected straight to the Bluetoothy type thing that was going on
Right.
360. Only PS3 that needed the dongle.
Okay,
So if you're looking for a 360 one, the dongle's irrelevant as long as it's 360 though. But it can't.
yeah.
Not like I'm going to shout out this one though, because this is
That
the
Looks
new one that
amazing.
this is the new one that PDP released like this year for Rock Band
Dude,
4.
There's
It's
a new one coming out called the Riff Master. Have
This
you
is it.
seen that?
This is
Is
the Riff
that
Master.
Is
This
it?
is the Riff Master. Yeah.
Dude,
As soon
that
as it comes, like, I am getting me one of them. I've got the original Rock Band 4 one from when
they
it
are
came out.
so
on-
expensive, dude. They are
Oh, I
so
know, yeah.
expensive.
This is another tale from when I used to work at Game. When somebody traded it in, we never got it. It was like 130 quid with the game, and someone traded it in. But there was no way for us to trade the controller in. You just scanned the game. So the game get you like 17 quid for the controller. And I said that to us, like, I explained exactly. He goes, yeah, it's fine, I don't want it. I'm like, Okay, so we were selling the controller for £35. Like, I'm buying that.
Oh
and
my
we
gosh.
like didn't even
Yeah, yeah,
got
good
flawed.
on
Like,
you.
that's mine. I'm
Yeah.
having that.
Yeah,
Also, can we just
Amazing.
acknowledge the low key flex that Adam just did, where he was like, "They're so expensive." Whoop.
Well, bam!
That wasn't low key at all. That wasn't low key at all.
Oh, that's so like just a little bit off topic. Like, you know how they're releasing their Astro Boy controller?
Oh my
And,
gosh, yes, I want it so bad.
right? And also, Xbox is doing that like Cypher Blue like throwback.
Yep.
That looks amazing too. Like, are you guys controller buyers? Like, do you buy these special edition like things, or do you kind of just wait? And it's like I've got like an Elite controller, and to me it just is a waste, not a waste of money, but like, you know, like I don't
Yeah.
need another controller.
No, I don't collect. Some people who've got like them on the walls and everything. I do have the Halo Elite,
That's
Elite 2.
sick.
'Cause
Yeah.
I got it when I also got the Halo Infinite Xbox Series as well.
Oh, you
Oh,
dirty
nice.
dog.
I had to do it. But, like, I love the Elite controller. I think it's just brilliant. But I don't know. But they're a bit temperamental, aren't they? They're not the best built controllers, like the R button goes or the stick drift or whatever else.
Yeah.
So I just got a refurbed one for like just an additional one for it was like £40.
Oh,
So
nice.
it was like, well, I got it. But
I-
I'm not looking for like, I'll get the Sky Cipher and I'll get the if they did Gears of
Yeah.
War Elite, I'm waiting for the next version of an Elite now.
Yes.
Do like an Elite 3. I'm all for that.
Ah,
That's it. I wanted that one.
I love it
I
so
wanted
much.
that.
Look at that.
I
love
miss it so much.
So-
Love it.
As you speak about the quality of them,
Yes.
the original Elites, like so the rubber peeled off,
Oh wow.
Yes, I've got one of them.
Completely off.
Awful, yeah.
and is it this bumper? This bumper just like fell out. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see
wow.
it, but it's like, and because it's special edition, they couldn't just replace
Can't
it.
replace it. Yeah.
It's just
No,
so
yeah,
it just
I wouldn't have sent that in or anything,
No.
even if it was under
No.
warranty.
Yeah.
so that just sits there like as a like a
Well,
thinking back
even in
on
the shape
better
that it's
times.
in, dude, it's still worth so much money. Like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And
I
so
don't
yeah,
know how you begin to take that rubber off. I would love to look into that. Dude, I love fucking working on controllers and switching out parts. Just look at this one. I like took the PlayStation controller apart and like I had to like there's methods you can do where you can like take off the touchpad. There's like a little motherboard on the plastic part and you got to like take a blow dryer to it to kind of warm it up and get the soldering off. But since it's still warm, you can basically take that motherboard, put it on the new touchpad that you want, and it will just start to kind of melt after you let it dry for a little bit. But like, it's also got like these cool like back grips.
yeah.
But yeah, no, dude, they're really cheap. Like if you go on Amazon and you basically just look up any kind of housing shells or whatnot. This is like the first brand that pops up. It's no, that's not it. I can't remember what it's called, but I mean, dude, it's so cheap. Like the front of it was like $15 through $20, and then this back piece was like $10-15. So like I was basically able to do all of this for $35. I didn't need to buy any special parts to take it apart. It includes the stuff. This is not a paid advertisement. I just love doing stuff like this. But yeah, dude, I've always really wanted to start my own business and making my own controllers and hydro dipping and
cool,
stuff
dude.
like that.
Yeah. Like when I bought the Elite 2, I bought the like extra security thing. So if something goes wrong, I just pay $20 and they just give me a new one. And I've actually been through 3 of those. So like these Elite, and I tell you what it is. It's always the bumper for me. It's always this bumper. I don't know why. And then also like I don't know what it is like with the Xbox like special edition controllers, but I feel like the quality of them is not as good as their like just standard controller. Like I had the, you can see in the background, I got the Star Wars 360. That came with a C3PO controller,
Yes, yes.
and it just stopped working. Like
Yeah.
nothing broken on it. It just stopped working. So
That's so annoying.
yeah,
I really hope that they do it in a Link 3, which I'm sure they are doing. I just wish, I hope that the build quality is better.
yeah.
The only special edition controller I've got the I guess the 20th anniversary
Dude,
one.
that
Yeah,
one, that's so cool. Yeah.
Well, this one, you two have already heard this story. Addy, you hadn't. So
No.
I got my Xbox Series X. I actually bought from Newegg. It was when everyone was trying to get a PS5 and a Series X, and I refused to pay scalper prices. But the deal was I had to buy a bundle with the regular control and then one of these. Otherwise, I wasn't getting the console. So I mean, it worked out at the time. Me and my girlfriend, obviously, I was going to end up having to buy another controller for her anyway, so it wasn't really that big a deal. But yeah, other than that, I have a shitload of controllers lined up here, but that's because I'm a retro gamer, so I have to have. Yeah, and I do a lot of my retro gaming on PC. We'll say, but like I have to have PC versions of like the Super Nintendo controller and the N64, and it's stupid. It really is. You don't fucking need to do that.
Dude,
but
it's not stupid. It's fucking awesome.
I bought a PC. I bought
it.
Yeah. Let's put it. When I got Wind Waker working on playing it with an Xbox controller felt weird, so I actually bought a PC adapter for the GameCube controller just to be able to play with the GameCube controller, because an Xbox controller just felt fucking weird. I needed the A button in the middle of everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a controller that you like? I'm just thinking of one that you wish you'd got, but you hadn't got, like special editions. For me, it's the Sea of Thieves one.
Dude, same. Same.
That controller is glorious, and it glows in the dark and shit. And I'm just like, I wish I bought that. I don't know why I didn't.
So
buy that.
expensive now.
Yeah,
it is so expensive.
For me, it's probably the Starfield one, and it was in stock for like 3 or 4 weeks, so I don't know why I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
But much like the Sea of Thieves now, instead of being like $80, I've seen them for like $150, $200.
Yeah.
Madness.
And I just can't justify that anymore.
No.
Like, especially like I'm not gonna use them. They're just there to like to look cool for me to look at.
It's
like and because I'm spending so much money at the moment, like on Xbox 360 stuff, like trying to just find all that stuff.
It's
dude,
only gonna go up in price from here at this point.
I know. So Farming Simulator 25 are releasing a special little box that you plug in, and it's a key, and you start your tractor with the key.
Oh my god,
like,
that's amazing.
That sort of shit, like, is like, I'm like, just fucking take my money. I don't like.
Are you getting the big Tony Hawk skateboard that they did for like?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Was it Ride? Was it? And I forget the other one. The two games that you did, didn't there?
And like, so you're jumping on this controller, and of course it fucking breaks, doesn't it? Because you're jumping on this thing. Oh my god.
See, I'm not interested in this ignition unless it comes with a thing that's going to violently shake my chair and rumble at the same time, like while I'm turning the ignition. I'm like,
yeah,
and
I know.
rolling.
Yeah, so good. So good.
Pop an achievement in the back, and a bushel of carrots gets delivered to your door. And stuff like that.
So, if it makes you feel any better, Addy, I do have a friend who got the Sea of Thieves controller. It is very beautiful. However, it does not glow in the dark at all. Yeah, like basically she said that like on the day she got it, she's like, you could kind of tell where it like kind of is glowing, but then she's like, after a week or so, she's like, you can't really tell. I feel like that's a lot of things nowadays. Like if you ever get like a Funko Pop that says glow, actually I got one right here. If you ever get a Funko Pop that says glow in the dark, I've never seen this thing glow ever.
Was it to explode like a nuclear blast for it to glow in the dark or something like that?
I guess. I don't know. It feels like it's just something for people to say at this point.
the steel case of the new Alone in the Dark is glow in the dark.
Really?
And it does glow in the dark. And it fucking
Really?
looks really cool. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Can I see
Yeah.
it? Do
It's
you have
like
it nearby? Because I don't think I've
it's
even
just a
seen the
plain
steelbook.
it's like a plain black case and it just says Alone in the Dark on it.
Oh, okay.
I'll look for it. Nathan,
Okay. Yes.
do you want to tell us what you've been up to?
Yes.
Because we're still in that stage.
You know,
Like,
yeah,
Weird fucking look.
I'll definitely talk about what I've been up to, which actually goes hand in hand with the whole controller thing, because I've got this baddie right here. It's I got it off of GameStop actually. It was a whole story, but I go in there and this is like in the used bag, being sold at core price, and I kid you not, I've got the images on my phone to show that I made this in the game labs. Like, before I saw it in GameStop, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to jump on this. And I, like, ran home
did you get
and
your
got
name?
No,
Did you
see,
get your
I
name
I got it at GameStop.
Oh,
Like,
sorry,
I had
yeah,
customized this exact controller and then saw it at
Yep.
GameStop, and somebody else had made the exact thing. And I like traded in some stuff and was able to pick it up right there then and there. It was a whole story because their computer system crashed and then the manager blamed me, and I'm like, bro, I was just trying to buy a controller. What are you talking about?
I'm the
It was a whole
customer.
thing.
I'm always right.
I that's what I'm saying. I was like, I was like, I don't mean to be a Karen, but excuse me.
Okay, having worked on that other side of the counter, you are never right.
Yeah,
From
right?
a-
No, the
customers
customer
are
is
never
always
right.
Yeah, no,
the
it's
customer
very
is
true.
always an idiot.
I
Well, the
have-
full-
Customer's always an asshole.
It's not even.
Yep.
It's not even the customer is always right. It's the customer is always right in matters of taste. Is the quote. And
Right.
people ignore that last
Yeah.
because you don't know anything about terms and
It's-
conditions or your rights and all that sort of
No,
stuff. It's
no.
nonsense.
It's crazy. I have been on the other side of that exact counter before. Back when the Xbox One first came out, and we talked about Dying Light last week, and somebody just got their console and tried to pick up Dying Light because we had those display cases, and the dude lost his shit. I mean, took the game, threw it across the store, and he's like, why put it on the shelves then? And stormed out like, dude, it was Black Friday.
Yeah.
And it was packed. There were so many people,
Yeah.
and the room fell completely silent. Everyone stared at this guy. It was one of the wildest Black Friday like, I mean, I've been through some. Actually, no, it's not even the closest wildest Black Friday story I have, but it's up there just because of how badly that one singular person acted and the fact that everybody went silent. But I've been in situations where I've almost gotten trampled on Black Friday and stuff, so I
Dude,
definitely
that
got
seems
stories
so
there.
wild to me.
Oh yeah, do you guys
Yeah.
not have anything like that in Australia or the UK?
Oh, we do, but it doesn't like we have the Black Friday deals, but people don't try and kill each other for them.
No. That happens just on a normal week-to-week basis. Not you have to
Yeah,
wait for Black Friday for that sort of stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm here, so I'll go ahead.
I'm not speaking about Australia. I'm speaking about from my experience. A guy came, when I used to work in games, some guy threatened to stab me. He came behind the counter and threatened to stab me because I wouldn't take his PS2 off him. like, you won't return it. You've sold me. Oh, like, first of all, we didn't sell you this PS2, and now he wants to stab me. I had to call the there's like a panic button underneath the till, and you push the buttons, and like the SWAT team come in and
The
just
game SWAT
Oh my
team.
wild.
Gee
Oh,
whiz.
fucking brilliant.
I mean,
Um,
yeah. While I'm
there you
here,
go,
I mean,
Nathan.
oh,
Oh, there it
nice.
is.
Yeah, that's really slick.
It's like super clean, and it's got the nice,
Wow,
like spine.
that is clean.
Nice.
But yeah, it actually
that.
it actually glows in the dark, which is nice.
That's
It's a
awesome.
nice change.
But yeah, no, I mean, as long as I'm here, like, there was the craziest Black Friday story I have is the fact that basically I had been there hours in advance. Listen, Black Friday, I'm sure I'll talk about it even more in the future. Black Friday is my shit. Like, I still love going out just for the experience of it because I'm a freak like that. And back when, shoot, I can't even remember how long ago this would have been, but it was a long time ago. And Walmart always has, between Walmart and Target, they always have like the best deal on video games, way more than GameStop, unless you were to argue that they got that buy two get one free sale, but that's here or there. So I waited by the pallets for like 3 hours on Thanksgiving Day. This was like one of the first times that they started doing Black Friday on Thanksgiving Day. And, my family was all pissed, but I was like, hey, look, sorry. I care more about these sales.
This is way more
Hey,
important.
this is way more important.
What are you doing?
So I go there, I wait like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and Walmart, so like they've got it all lined up in the main aisle of the grocery section, like where the freezer section is and stuff. And so then, I kid you not, 10 minutes before they open up the pallets and everything goes on sale, 10 minutes beforehand, they decide, we're going to take all these pallets and move them down at the end of the aisle. So then everybody, like myself, who had been there for 3 hours, the line's all fucked up now. Like, everybody is now, like, pushed up against, like, the line is completely out of whack. So they dropped the, whatever it was they were using to hold the line up, they dropped that down, and I tell you, people sprinted to the other end of that aisle to get to that pallet. And I really thought I was going to get trampled. Like, it was that bad because I was pushed towards the front of it. And by the time I got to that pallet, like, it was legit, like, grab as you're going and you got pushed out of the way. Like, I had to just kind of, like, quickly, like, search around, grab what I needed, and then circle back around. And by the time I came back around, completely clean. Like, the entire pallet was completely picked clean within 5 minutes. It was insane.
Damn.
As a British person, the lack of queue etiquette there is horrendous.
It's
sets me
insane.
wild.
Well, and that's also West Virginia, too.
I was here first. You were here second.
Yes, we've been here for 3 hours. I was first, second. We've had a queue. You can't just ruin the queue. Honestly.
Let me look. Don't push me. Let me look what I want, and then it's your turn.
Yeah. Nobody acted that way. It was horrible. But as far as what I've been up to, the whole entire controller conversation also sinks into what I've been doing as well, because I've kind of been low on controllers as of late. And speaking of the quality of these V2 controllers, this one's been acting up. And maybe that's on me because I haven't simply gone out of my way to buy my daughter a controller. If you ever see me online playing Peppa Pig, newsflash, that's not me.
You're just grinding for those achievements.
Yes,
get those Peppa Pig achievements.
Yeah. The Peppa Pig achievements. No, but my daughter's been playing. She's been using this controller, and it's fine. She's respectful. But then my son gets a hold of it when she drops it, and he's the one that's not as respectful and likes to toss it around. Yeah. And I go to play Flintlock because I still haven't finished it. I'm only 5 hours in. I have barely touched the game because I've just been busy with other stuff. But like, I tried to jump back into it, and I couldn't because the controller kept disconnecting, and my inputs were lagging, and it was a whole thing. So then I was like, well, all right, I'll try to see if it's the game. I've been playing Mad Max on Xbox. I haven't really had an issue. It's been randomly disconnecting, but there's something about Flintlock that has been causing it to be more of an issue. I don't know what it is. I've even turned off vibration. I've done a lot of different troubleshooting, restarting. The only thing I haven't done is maybe completely uninstall the game and reinstall it, but I might just... I've already downloaded it on my laptop, so that's probably where I'm going to play it from now on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I wish I was more of that controller guy, but I'm not. Mainly because I would rather just make it myself. I like putting my own touch on things, and I'm very much a creator at heart. However, I am a sucker for freaking limited edition stuff. And I really want to go back through and recollect a lot of the collector's edition stuff that I've had in the past. I will, speaking of making special editions myself, this was before, I made this before the Spider-Man edition came out. And honestly, it's okay because I still like this better, not to toot my own horn, but me and my wife made this together. But this is my PlayStation.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
And yeah, this is the kind of stuff I love doing, and I haven't made
Yeah,
a
that's real cool.
controller. I haven't made a controller to go along with it or anything.
Yeah.
But that's mostly thanks to my wife. She's the artist. She made the stencil. She made the stencil for it, and then we painted it together. But
That's so cool.
I gotta say, like, yeah, I wish I would have gotten the controller though. But the Batman one, top tier, #1 best limited edition console ever. Maybe arguable against the Gears of War consoles.
What console did they do?
There was the Batman
Is it
Arkham. It was the third game.
I don't think I know.
Arkham Knight. Yeah, Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight.
Did
Yeah.
they do a console
Batman.
for that?
Yep.
What-
PS4.
What console
You know what
was
they
it?
did? It was a PlayStation.
Yep, it was just
4?
a PS4, and it was like
Yeah.
the original standard edition. It was silver.
Yeah.
And it
Oh,
had
yeah.
like
And if
Batman
you
above.
put it on its side, it had like that little strip, right? Yeah.
So
yeah.
gorgeous.
I still remember PS4's limited edition consoles there were underwhelming, I thought,
Oh.
generally.
Oh,
I thought they were a bit poor. Yeah, underwhelming. Yeah, I just thought they were a bit like there wasn't like it's kind of like PlayStation's catching up now with the cool controller
Right.
stuff. Like some of the earlier ones were a bit like, meh, but
Like
the Concord one's very cool. The Astrobot one is, mate. I got really excited because oh wow, the eyes are gonna follow you. And then I remembered that the touchpad is not a screen. So like if the eyes, like, if they made it a screen and the eyes were kind of looking around and watching you make silly decisions in the game and blink at you, I thought that'd be really cool. But yeah,
See, I'm probably gonna take that controller and tear it apart because honestly, the thing that I love about it is the blue sides. I'd probably like keep the blue sides, stick with the black with the white joysticks, and then I'm not a big fan of the eyes, honestly. Like especially since they do stay still. But enough about all that stuff. As far as what I've been up to, again, I've been trying to play Flintlock. Not working out for me. I'm loving Mad Max so far. I played it for a little while last night before I went to work. Got like 3 or 4 hours in. And wow, better than Arkham Origins so far. And considering how
That's
old
a great game.
so great.
It is.
And considering how old it is, looks magnificent. Holy crap, the graphics are good. Like and maybe part of that is like the Series X doing its boosting and stuff because whenever I clicked on the guide button, I saw all the icons in the top right where it's like frame per second boost and all that stuff. Yep. So maybe that's part of it, but it is just such a gorgeous game.
The car combat is just incredible.
It's cool, isn't it?
Like I don't know if you've got this like the fucking javelin thing yet.
Yes.
Like rip the doors off, and it is wow.
It's a lot of fun.
When you get that cat upgrade, and it is so much fun just ripping through the wastelands, tearing cars to shreds.
Yeah,
It's super fun.
It is so good.
Can you guys tell I'm watching the kids tonight?
You're doing a great job, man.
Thank
Doing a
you.
great job.
Thank you. If I ever get up, it's because I have to change a diaper or I'm keeping an eye on.
It's when there's silence. That's when the problem is. You're like, wait,
Right?
there's too much silence. Like, what's,
I can mute my mic when I'm not talking, but like I can't really fight the screaming whenever my mic's on. But other than that, I am excited because I know most people in our Discord chat have been talking about wanting to play Nobody Wants to Die.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But yeah, I know Frazier's played. Oh my goodness. Hey guys, calm down. Holy crap. I mean, it's WrestleMania in here, guys.
It just said nobody wants to die, but that's not a promise. It's
not a promise.
Warning.
Dude, I like look over. You've got like this tub, like it's a used tub of laundry detergent, and he's like,
Hulk smash.
Hulk smash, exactly.
Hey, Hulk wash if he's got laundry detergent.
Yeah. He's got it.
So, I played Nobody Wants to Die, and I loved it. I wrote a review for it, and I'm trying to get the developers to notice that I gave them a big old rating. I think they actually checked it out because I had
cool.
commented and like said, hey, I gave y'all a 9.5 on Gamer Social Club, and that same day somebody went through and like clicked on every article I ever wrote about it. So I'm like, maybe they were checking it out. So fingers crossed that like we get featured on their page or something as like
That'd be cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I maybe I should save talking about it for like later when everybody has more of a chance to play it. I would love to have a spoiler cast. We talked a little bit on it last week, and I mean, for those of you who don't know anything about it, it is a LA noir type. It is a dark noir, futuristic cyberpunk world where you play as a detective and you've got to rebuild crime scenes using futuristic tools and then solve those murders. And ultimately, it's a 5-hour game, $25. It looks AAA. I mean, absolutely stunning.
It is beautiful.
Game.
Yeah,
yes,
it's a beautiful game.
It is beautiful. And let's see, I'm trying to think of what else I can say about it. The big seller for me is not just the LA Noir, because I'm a sucker for noir type games. But that's not the biggest seller. The biggest seller is the concept of the game, where, you know, you are in this dystopian future where basically your body is not your own. Your body, basically, immortality exists through buying and selling of bodies through the government. So like basically at the age of 21, if you can't subscribe to immortality, then your body goes up for auction, and then the rich people buy it. And and also in this world, it's like alcohol, smoking, anything that's bad for you is basically outlawed, because they want you to keep your body clean and keep it in good shape for the rich people, essentially. Because if you can't come up with the money, it's like you're out of luck. And that's kind of the concept of one of the characters in the game. It's like somebody they love, their body is in the bank, quote unquote. The bank is what they call it, where when you turn 21, if you can't afford it, then they send you to the bank and wait for you to be bought at auction. So she's like trying to buy her lover back. Sorry, I don't like using the word lover. I don't know why I said that. But it's just such a cool concept. And then Fraser, I've got a bone to pick with Fraser because he I heard him talk about it on Interactive Distractions, which, by the way, you did amazing on, dude. I really enjoyed watching that episode. And you know, so here's my thing. I agree. I see what you're saying about the game not having any evolution. It doesn't it doesn't add any new gameplay elements, right? Now, it's a good point, valid argument. My argument would be, does it need it? Because I don't know if it's a fair comparison, but I'm comparing it to Hellblade 2 because of the fact that they're both these cinematic games that are 5 hours long each. And what's crazy is this game's 50% of the cost of Hellblade 2. And they're, in my mind, they're so close neck and neck to each other as far as quality goes. But my thing is, like, 5 hours, you don't need a whole bunch of room for evolution, especially when 50% of that 5 hours, Marshall, stop. 50% of that 5 hours is spent doing the crime scene stuff, which I never felt like. Yes, the crime scene and rebuilding the crime scenes was an important part of the game, and it is like the main gameplay feature. However, I felt like that wasn't the main purpose of the game. Like, the main purpose of the game was driving a narrative. So it was like, all right, well, we're getting the stuff solved figuring out who the murderer is kind of like my main goal, and I feel like I'm getting that job done. And if I felt like it was constantly evolving, I don't feel like, for me, I actually had the opposite thought of, I'm glad they just give me the tools I need, let's get through this story, as opposed to we're constantly introducing new things that you need to adapt to.
Yeah.
It also makes it a little easier for whenever they introduce a sequel, because then whenever they introduce a sequel, I can totally see this being the kind of game where they introduce 1-2 new elements right off the bat, and then don't introduce anything more throughout the game.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. But again, I think it's a valid point. But I wanted, while I was listening, I was like, man, I wish I was a part of this conversation, because I would love to jump in and say that. But I
Yeah.
wanted to, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree with you on that. Like, what kept me was the story. Like,
Yeah.
the story was phenomenal. Like, it was a great story, and I I was hooked, like, right till the end, and it ended, and I was like, cool. Well, I want more.
I know. I
do
really want to
more.
go back through and replay it again, because I want to see
And
all the endings.
yeah, well, but then, like, gameplay wise, like, this is gonna sound really brutal, but like, I got bored.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got bored in it, because it was just the same thing
Mhm.
over and over and over.
Yeah.
Where if they had broken it up into, say, smaller instances where I don't need to use all of my gadgets for this one case, do you know what? Maybe I only need to use one of them,
Right.
and it's just a smaller thing where I found like the cases and the set pieces were so big, and it was just the same formula used over and over again. And yeah, so that was kind of where I was going with that, was like, it
Yeah.
was like, it's cheap enough, and the story is what keeps you there.
Yeah.
And I felt like maybe they could have just made it even simpler, and I still
Right.
would have loved it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
definitely
I don't
see
want to
that,
give
because
away
I
like
will say,
anything more than
yeah,
that.
I will say, whenever you are doing the crime scenes, that when looking back on my time with it, I definitely feel you there, because I was always just ready to go on. I was always like,
Yeah.
left the crime scene being like, okay, finally. Like, so yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. That's
That
a good
first
point.
case was incredible.
Yes.
Like, getting all the gadgets, using them, like, recreating the scene, and then that first time that you do the, like, murder board thing,
Yes.
like, it was like, this is
Yes.
fucking cool. Like, I'm like, I need more of this. And then it happened again, and I was like, oh, maybe I don't need more of this.
I get that.
But yeah, Eddie, don't stop this from you playing it.
Yes, seriously.
It's a great game. It is great.
It definitely looks right up my alley. I definitely
Yeah.
love the look of it. So, and if it, you know, it's 5 hours, isn't it?
Right.
If it gets tedious or repetitive, it's fine. It's not like 40 hours of repetitive tedium.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
But
you know, a good game done well can, you know, it's fine.
Well,
That if it establishes its core gameplay loop and it's really good, then if it's progressing the narrative, I think it's probably fine. But again, I have to play it to really comment. I can take your points on board though, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that sums up what I've been up to. And then what do you guys want to jump into first?
Well, I still haven't been yet.
Oh my
talking
gosh!
for an hour and 20.
Yeah. You're right. I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah. You're such a bully, man.
I'm so sorry. I feel horrible.
Like, my week was like, I did that Interactive Distractions podcast,
Yes,
which was
yep.
so much fun.
It's great.
Jeff, we've had Jeff on before.
Yep.
He's a lovely guy, and all the team over there at Interactive Distractions are all so lovely, and I had such a fun time just talking games with them. So I did that on like Saturday, and then like I said, I finished Nobody Wants to Die. That was, like I said, it was like I had a fantastic time with that. One of my friends at work has constantly been talking about this game called Cloud Punk. I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah.
you guys have heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I've not
little,
played it.
Yeah, it's a little indie game. Again, the gameplay loop was not. I think I bought it for $5, and I started it, and I was like, I don't think much of this. And then 8 hours later, I'm rolling credits, and like essentially you're a delivery driver in this kind of mega city, and you just have to deliver packages. But it's all about the stories of these packages and the stories of all the characters that you come across. The art style is really really cool. But yeah, it's a fun little game. I had loads.
Oh
loads
wait,
of
you
fun with
already
that.
beat it.
Oh yeah, it was short as fuck.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I played through that in like pretty much one sitting.
That's awesome.
Maybe two sittings actually. But
Okay.
yeah, it's like from when I bought it off the Xbox store, the pictures don't sell it justice. Like I thought it was a 2D side scroller, but it's not. It's like a full 3D, multiple layers, driving a car that floats, and you can drive wherever you want.
Oh, that's
Like,
really
there's
cool.
like open maps, like connected by like a little tunnel, and there's like heaps of people to talk to, heaps of weird little side jobs. Like it was a fun little experience. And like I said,
Yeah.
like I first started it, and I was like, this is really weird. Like I don't know why. My friend, his name's Cameron. I was like, I don't know why he told me to play this game because it's kind of shit. But then like it was. He's usually been good. So he was the one who got me onto Death Stranding, and like I loved that. So I was like, well, he knows what I like, so I'll try it. And yeah, like I said, like started playing it. I was like, it's not really what I'm after, and then I finished it. So
That's amazing.
that's a great little thing. And then like the other thing, I am fully committed to Metal Gear Solid 5 now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I am God knows how many hours in. When you're sitting in the helicopter and it says it's got a little percentage of how much you've done, I'm 26% complete.
No
I was like,
way.
what do you
You'll put
mean?
like a few hours into it or something.
What do you mean? I've done so much,
Holy crap.
but
we need
what
to do is go back and get S ranks in all the levels and do the million of levels and the side bits and
dude,
final
there's
days and stuff.
150 side missions. 150 side missions.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I
And-
remember that. It's like bang for your buck, isn't it? Like,
Dude, and like the other thing is like there's no like it's again 10 years old we're talking.
Yeah.
And sure I'm playing like a next gen upgrade, but all the mechanics are still there. It just looks prettier. It's such an incredible game. Like
Yeah.
they've taken the stealth like option and they've done the stealth option so well. And like, you know, your silencers only have a couple of shots before they wear out. And so
Yeah.
you can't just like silence everyone. And you can put people to sleep and you can kill them. And there's no downside to killing people. Like, you know, in stealth games when like you kill someone, you lose points for it, or like whatever.
Don't
this
get me
is like
started on Dishonored. We've been there.
if you kill, yeah, right. If you kill someone, it doesn't matter.
That's you.
It's
That's
like-
all on you. You let a guy walk off a cliff or whatever it was,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you ruined your game. But that's on you. You get.
Yeah.
It's not Dishonored's fault.
the
Do
more
not,
you
do not,
get, the enemies start to develop like your play
Yes.
style. So
Yeah.
if you're headshotting everyone, all of a sudden they're wearing helmets. If you're doing your missions at night, they all start wearing night vision. Like it's incredible. But then when shit hits the fan and you need to, the action's brilliant too.
Yeah.
Like it's, and like you never feel insanely overpowered either. Like you've got some really cool gadgets, but you can still just get annihilated like very quickly. Like, can call in tanks and jeeps and dogs and like naked.
I love attaching the balloons to things. Like, is it Fultons? Is what they call it?
Yeah,
And he's
that's
attaching
right.
to like a goat and just like I'm making a tank.
Like
a tank of yeah.
Oh, like, so I'm a little bit worried because like I think what makes Metal Gear Solid so special was Kojima, right? His he is Metal Gear Solid. And even people like him, people don't, but his storytelling capabilities are like out of this world for me. I just this story is so fucking weird and I just have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
It makes me worried that like he's no longer involved in Metal Gear Solid. So we're getting this remake.
Yeah.
Which means like, okay, fine, like the story's already there. They're just making it look prettier. Fantastic. But what's next? Like, we saw Metal Gear Survive. I enjoyed it, but it was no way near what.
No. It's not a Metal Gear game, is it really?
No.
No.
So like, if we get a Metal Gear Solid 6, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with it?
I mean, the one thing I will say about Kojima in Metal Gear, the latest one as well, he could have done with an editor. Like, I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 4, but this was in 2 90-minute cutscenes, and like, you probably could have been shorter. Like, I get you trying to make a point and get your storytelling, but no, I bet no one wanted to say to him, "Do you think it could be a touch shorter?" Like, no, it's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
Well, no one's saying that to him, is it?
It's like camera angles and stuff, like how you like the camera like walks in between the soldiers, and it shows like weird shoulder shots and like stuff off in the distance, and it's such a beautiful game. And the fact that it's like 10 years old and that I've only just managed to get to it now. I think the size of it was pretty overwhelming for me, but I've kind of just said like, I'm not going to play anything else but this. I'm gonna. So I've finished off all the things that I've been working on, and I'm just like focusing on this, trying to get through it. But I'm 25% through, and I'm like, fuck, maybe I'm.
I need to go back to it. It's another one of those like it's just so much to it that I'll just come back to it. But I do love it.
Yeah,
it's so good.
So I guess this will lead me onto Fraser's question corner.
Fraser's question corner.
So I love story stuff. It's incredible. Like all these like story driven games.
Yeah.
And like say Flintlock for instance, you're fighting through it and I've got no fucking idea what the story is in Flintlock. Like it didn't grab me. Like the combat was great and I had loads of fun playing the game. But like I couldn't tell you the relevance of like any of the bosses or any of the story. So do you guys have and do you know what? Even the same again, like do you guys have a villain, a standout villain that you thought like completely made this story? So like even things like Jedi Survivor, right? Brilliant game, brilliant story, but I couldn't really give a fuck about that main bad guy.
Yeah.
He didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, same.
So I'll let you guys think about it, but my one is Jonathan Seed from Far Cry 5.
Oh, that's such a good one too. Oh.
He is the coolest bad guy. And have you all played it and finished it?
Oh,
not finished it. I played it, but not finished it.
Yeah. Do you mind a spoiler? Are you going to finish it?
You can say it. I'll put my fingers in my ears.
So, like at the end, when everything happens, and then you get trapped in that bunker with them, and then they start the second, like you know how Far Cry went through that stage of like releasing a game and then releasing like a little add-on to it.
Yes.
what was the
New
call?
Dawn.
It had like
I'm wanting to say
New Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then he was in it again,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, this,
Let's
like,
go.
yeah, it was so good. We're
I-
done, Eddie. We're done.
I think you're good.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't hear with that. I was scratching his fingers off.
Hey,
The scratching.
Great.
I was just like,
Yeah, so like,
Honestly, I
there's
didn't even really
obviously,
think you spoiled much, or of anything really.
oh,
like there's so many fantastic villains out there, you know, like General Ram and like all these like
Ram
these
is great.
incredible villains,
Mhm.
but there was just something so like real about Seed.
I mean, I'm gonna just skip right over, Kevin Conroy's Batman and Mark Hamill's Joker, because I mean,
Mhm.
that's just, I feel like that's cheating. Like, that's comic book.
Well,
It's also the animated series.
Yeah.
You know what though? I was gonna say, I was about to say the Joker in the Arkham series,
Yeah.
because the
Yep.
Joker, like, because even at the end of City, like, he's still there in night, but it's like it's just the layers of that, because he's not
Yeah.
even the
Yeah.
villain in Night, really, is he? But
No.
he's there, and
No.
it's so good.
So good.
I mean, Mark Hamill is unmatched in terms of Joker. If you could
Yeah,
get
definitely.
like Heath Ledger's Joker with Mark Hamill's voice, just bang, that is just it. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. No, that's a good one, Nathan. Yeah. Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'll try to think of more while Russell and
Yeah.
Eddie think.
I think the other one that jumps to my mind, and it maybe because it's my favorite game, but Andrew Ryan is it like,
Yeah.
and even though he's not like the final bad guy. The kind of presence of him, like at the start, throughout BioShock,
Throughout
and
the
he's
whole thing.
just
Yeah.
thing, just commenting, narrating, appearing in your ear, and just like, and I love the whole "would you kindly" thing. It just
Yeah.
so I think
Yeah.
there's maybe you might say Fontaine because of Atlas and stuff like that, but the whole layers of all of that is just. I mean, I love that though, but the scene with the golf club and just just mad. Oh, just that stands out to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like
yeah.
because there's a lot to it, isn't there? It's not just about he's the bad guy. You deal with him. He's like he wanted a better society, rightly or wrongly or whatever else, and he was trying to build it. He was trying to protect it, and then it all just collapsed in on himself, didn't it? It was just just brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah. So there's that series.
I
Did
mean,
you
yeah,
see- Did you see
Yeah.
that they I can't remember what exactly was said, but you know how there's like that BioShock live action thing being made?
for the film.
Yeah. So
Yeah, on Netflix, right?
apparently they've like downsized it.
Yeah, they've cut the
Whatever
budget, haven't they?
whatever that means. Couldn't tell you.
Could
No.
But
be just more that it's not going to be as CGI
CGI
focused, or they're
yeah.
not going to make it
Yeah.
as Michael Bay ish,
Mhm.
and it might be
Well, good, 'cause I like to
more
see what's
focused on
going on,
story,
to be
which would be
fair.
great. Yes,
They
yeah,
could do
absolutely.
some like real grim, like low budget horror
Yeah,
thing.
you could
with-
make it a
with
really well done thing. You don't have
Yeah.
to have a massive budget to make it good, do you?
No, you don't. But yeah, I'm super like I know we haven't had a BioShock in a long time, but like
Yeah, I mean,
I would love something, just something.
well, they're
I don't
working
know.
on it, aren't they? But Cloud Chamber Games is it that are working on Bioshock 4? But when that comes,
Yeah.
I bet it comes like the same week as Judas. Just
Yeah.
I was
Oh
gonna
my
say
gosh.
I'm more looking forward to Judas than the new BioShock personally.
Yeah,
Just
No,
because
that's-
who's working on Judas, of course.
Right.
But
yeah.
Well, it's just like with Callisto Protocol coming out like a month before the Dead Space remaster. It's probably you're definitely correct about that.
So
yeah,
like, sorry, Russell, carry on.
no, you're fine. I'm kind of sort of still picking someone. I think I've got who I'm going to go with.
I thought of another
already
one
saying
if you
figure.
still want more time.
Well, so I'm sitting here, I'm like staring at my Xbox shit, I'm staring at my PS2 shit. As soon as you guys asked that question, like my head
Yeah,
started
you look
going to
brown.
all of my game collections. I think I'm gonna have to go with Albert Wesker from the from Resident Evil though.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one. It is
I
a good
I
one.
thought he was, to me, he was like, in a way, kind of a classic Bond villain almost.
Yep.
I was like, to the point where I was actually kind of really sad when you, spoiler alert for Resident Evil 5, in case anyone gives a fuck. To the point where I was kind of sad when he died
Yeah.
in Resident Evil 5. I'm sort of hoping they find a way to bring him back into the series at some
Oh,
point.
they have to. They have to.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
There'll be some sort of virus that he got when he was in there.
Yeah,
or
they'll recreate it to like
yeah, or
the
maybe
new virus.
maybe they keep him dead in the main series, but in like the remakes, maybe don't. Eventually, I know there's some controversy about remaking Resident Evil 5. Eventually, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Like,
And maybe they
Dude, the
don't kill
contr-
him. I mean, I'm not gonna say what exactly, but they changed the ending of Resident Evil 4 for the remake. So
Oh.
oh, did they?
It's
See,
not-
I never played the original 4. I only ever played
you
the
didn't?
remake. Yeah.
Oh.
So wait, you never played either of them, or
No, I only played the remake.
okay? So did you beat the remake?
Yes, I did.
So
Yeah.
in the original, Ada doesn't turn the helicopter back around and just take off. She still goes to Wesker and meets him.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Interesting.
Which
If they do
could
remake 5,
yeah, which
if
could
they do-
drastically change Resident Evil 5, I suppose. Maybe.
No. Don't change
no.
a thing.
if they remake
no,
Resident
not
Evil 5,
really.
though, they've got to keep the boulder punching in, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Right. That's the game. Resident Evil 5 boulder punching.
I think they should keep Resident Evil 5 pretty faithful if they're going to remake it. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe this is a hot take and it will get me canceled. It's set in Africa, which happens to have a lot of black people.
Africans in it. So
Yeah.
funnily enough.
So I know there's the whole thing with the spears. I'm not going to say the exact phrase, but
oh, I see. Right. Okay.
it's just what they do. They're villagers. They're primitive. I mean, it was pretty controversial when it came out, but it died out pretty fast. And now, in the last couple of years, IGN put out that article or that video, last year or whatever, saying that they'd have to completely overhaul it. I disagree, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
I was laughing a little bit ago because do you guys follow? Did you guys see what I shared the other day on Twitter? That was like the most boomer thing I've said all week. You see what did you on Twitter? Okay, so
it's been a busy week.
It's called X, goddammit.
X, sorry. So credit to Super Sissy. But every Resident Evil.
I actually know exactly who you're talking about.
Oh, really? Every Resident Evil memo ever, page 1. I crossbred a silverback gorilla with a praying mantis, then gave it AK-47s for arms. Bob has been poking it with a stick nonstop for the past 80 hours now. Hopefully it doesn't escape. Page 2. It escaped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's
damn.
every memo.
Yeah.
But
and then you have to fight said gorilla in the next room.
Yeah.
It's gotten even stronger since then.
Yeah.
No, but I was Russell's like, I was just kind of looking all over my room, and I was having the exact same thing happen where I was like, why am I such a dumbass all of a sudden? Like, I can't think of a single villain out of all these games that I've ever played where the villain just completely made the game. And I'm like, huh.
Oh,
and then I'm sitting here looking, and I'm like, Handsome Jack.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, come on.
Dude.
Talk about a villain who made the franchise. Like, how they've gone on without him, or like they're literally going on without him and just being like, hey, remember Handsome Jack? He was really funny. Here's a voice memo of him. Like, even to this day, we're still finding voice memos because we can't let go of how great Handsome Jack was.
He was phenomenal.
Oh,
what a great end. So like I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I've moved on from Borderlands now.
Really?
Like,
Yeah. I agree. When they talked about Borderlands 4, I'm like, I had burnt out on it. Like, if it's more of the same, I couldn't finish Borderlands 3. It's like, I did Borderlands 2 so much to death.
Yep,
Like,
same.
if it's just more guns and more things to shoot with more guns, then, like, what are you adding? There's no... It's that thing about the nobody wants to die. It's like, what are you adding that's changing here? What's the evolution? What Were you just creating another game for the sake of it? Like, it doesn't need to happen. There's like Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2. They're just remaking Overwatch 1 again, aren't they? They're just like, it's just not necessary. So Borderlands 4 needs to be something very different for me. Otherwise, I'm not bothered.
Like I was excited about Wonderlands, like when Tiny Tina came out. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, like this is something new. And then it was just more guns. I was like, oh, like.
But apparently that's done better than the main Borderlands games, hasn't it?
It is. It is a brilliant game. It is a brilliant game.
I personally enjoyed it better than 3. For me, it did what it needed to do. Like I personally was like, okay, this is the change I needed. The change up in humor, bringing on Andy Samberg, who I freaking love. Bringing on all these different people. It did what I wanted it to do. It added enough humor into it to keep it going for me, because I feel like that's what makes the franchise for me. Looter shooter or not, I'm just kind of like, it's whatever. But what could the game do as a franchise to win you back?
I think the thing that put me off Borderlands 3 is just the sheer concern about how big it is. Like, Borderlands 2 was massive, and all the DLC packs as well. And then there's the Season Pass 1, Season Pass 2, and then there was more after that. And I was like, that's a lot of stuff. And I haven't even played Fallout 3. And like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of big games I can't possibly manage. And I mean, I can't, you don't have to play everything. I know that. But like, I love lots of different games, but like if they made it just a more compact, succinct type thing in the Borderlands world. Loved Tales of the Borderlands, for example.
Oh my gosh,
brilliant! The finger gun stuff, one of the best things in gaming. That for me, I loved that. Look at different genres, maybe look at different things, ways of doing it. Try different, put it in a different genre. Does it work as an RTS? Could you do something like just do something different? Does it work as different genres? I don't know if it would. I'm just saying. I'm not a big fan of RTS. So I don't know why I said that. Just try it out.
Yeah,
it's a big world. Try something else.
Would an art style change do anything? Because I know that's what Borderlands is, the cell shading. Like it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I would say that's the one thing they need to keep, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I always liked the fact that it kind of looked like a old school comic book in motion, basically.
Yep.
I thought it was one of the things that made it really unique. I mean, that and the gunplay at the time, anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, now everyone's done that shit to death, so.
Yeah.
Maybe they could get away with. Maybe Borderlands could get away with being sane. I don't know. I'm thrown in the pack that I don't really give a shit about. I played the first 2. I have 3 on Steam, and I think I downloaded it on my deck, and it stayed on there for like a month, and it's so fucking massive and took up so much space that I wasn't gonna play it. So I think it's, what is it, like 130 gigs or something ridiculous?
Massive,
is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, it stayed on my deck for like a month, and finally I was like, I need to download. I usually play like a AAA game and an indie at the time, and I needed both on my deck, and I wasn't playing that, so I got rid of it. But
could because it, like Eddie said, it like it's so massive, and then like adding the grind bit to it as well. So it's like it's not just a massive game, but it's like a massive game plus grinding for these weapons. Like, I don't know, does it need to be harder, but somehow you like are always given these certain, like does the RNG need to be scaled back a bit? Like,
I remember doing one of the missions. I think it was one of the DLCs, and it was just endlessly looking for pumpkins or something, a brain to spawn from Borderlands 1 or something. And it's like, it took 4 hours for this to pop, just to complete a mission. Why is it this tedious? I'm just circling this area. And also the arena bit in Borderlands 1, I will say, is one of the worst DLCs I ever played. It was just tedious.
Which one?
I can't remember what the exact name was. It was like the arena in Borderlands 1, and it was just.
Oh,
it was
I know
just,
what you're talking about. Yeah.
They introduced
you
like
had to get and it went on and on and on, just too much.
Yeah,
it wasn't
it's like
dynamic. It wasn't interesting enough.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours in this arena, and you just had to keep going.
But man, y'all ever see the trailer for Psycho whenever they added Psycho into Borderlands 2?
Oh, yeah.
One of the
brilliant
best trailers ever.
I'm of the poop train.
Yes.
Well,
tell her how much you love her and respect her. It's genius.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. I love it. It's brilliant.
Could that be it? Because like we get the same characters every time, like different skin, but we've always got the soldier, we've always got the siren, we've always got the sniper. Like,
well, that's the thing is, did it work for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands? Because I feel like that answers your question there.
Yeah,
on what your opinion is there.
Yeah. And then, like I said, like introducing, like I think you could play as Handsome Jack as one of the DLCs in Borderlands 2, was it?
Yeah.
And then they did the pre-sequel, which wasn't so great, but
actually never touched it.
The characters were so
you
different.
Claptrap in that, couldn't you? So...
Yeah, that was brilliant. And his special was like his ultimate was just like it was just random.
Yeah.
So you'd pop this random, and like all your teammates would turn into like chickens. And you're like, well, fuck.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
No. I do love the humor in Borderlands, to be fair. Like, Claptrap, stairs? No!
Yeah. So good.
And the parodies of things like the Bioshock stuff in Borderlands 2 and stuff like that. Just like, they know what they're doing, but it's just there's a lot to it. I think I just try different stuff. That's what I would say for me, anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what would work though. I don't know what you could do. You could explore that world in different ways, couldn't you? I think.
Yeah, you definitely could. Fuck, I don't know about you guys, but that movie looks pretty bad.
I haven't watched the newest trailer. I'm just gonna let myself get disappointed when I go to the theater.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Definitely gonna watch it. Yeah. But like, I think at one point even Kate Blanchett was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, and if your main actress is saying like, why am I doing this? It's gotta be something wrong.
Oh,
that sort of sucks. I was hoping for like a Last of Us or Fallout series type like awesomeness, and it sounds like it might be more Halo or even worse than that.
The little bits that I've seen, it definitely looks like they're trying to stick to that like slapstick humor.
That's cool.
Which that's why we love Borderlands, but like I don't know. I don't know.
The actress of Tiny Tina is going to have to kill it, in my opinion.
Yep.
She's got a lot of work to do.
Where are they? Why there's characters from all the games in it? Like it just seems like a mishmash of everything. Like, I don't know.
I mean, Borderlands 3 didn't necessarily stick to the same 4 characters.
No, true.
So, like, why not just go ahead and make new characters, do your own thing? And because all I've been seeing is, wow, bad casting for Roland. Wow, bad casting for this, that, and the other thing. And, like, that's all I've been seeing in regards to Borderlands. Yeah. It's like, if you would have just went with new characters, I don't think anybody would have batted an eye at those things.
New Vault Hunters in the Borderlands world. Just having an adventure in Borderland, in Pandora, isn't it?
I would watch that. That would be... Like, I'm going to watch this one, absolutely. But something like that. Like, they don't need to go to use the stuff that's already there. Just use the universe. Do what Star Wars is doing, and just fucking just go ham with it. There's so much lore there that they can be playing with. So much. Anyway,
we are about an hour 40 minutes in. Do you guys want to get into the 360 thing? What do you want to do, Fraser?
Well, I want to hear this T8 fucking THQ stuff that Eddie, because I didn't watch it.
I didn't either. I have no idea, and I haven't read his thing, so I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, rude. What do you mean? It went up 4 hours ago. How did you not read it?
It's like THQ, they have been involved in some pretty cool stuff. Like,
Yeah.
some pretty cool stuff. I was looking through it before, and I was like, there are a few things that I didn't even realize they were involved in.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's
It went through it all over the place, didn't it? Like, because it's THQ Nordic now, but before it was just THQ, and it was what they were involved with, and all other franchises. They've been going for ages, haven't they?
Yeah.
But this from the showcase, there was nothing like massive, like in terms of big reveals. Wreckfest 2 was announced. I don't know if anyone plays Wreckfest. But Wreckfest 2 was announced.
I played the original. That was fun.
Yeah. So that was announced. They've done they showed Epic Mickey rebrushed again. Because that's due out next month, so they're obviously pushing that. There's a couple of games I'd never heard of before. Space for Sale.
That looks so cute. Like the animation in that and the art style that they've gone with. I actually thought it was that Journey to the Strange Planet or whatever that game.
Yeah.
Like it looked so similar to that when I first saw it. I was like, is this like a DLC or something? But no, it's something completely different.
From what I can tell, it's like you're a space realtor and you try to sell like homes in space and stuff like that. So you can do co-op and stuff like that. There's that and the Eternal Life of Goldman, which was the first thing they showed. It was like it's a platformer adventure that's like fairy tales and myths and stuff like that. Looks really cool, hand drawn thing. So I always used to love the Ubisoft. What was it called? The Ubisoft originals with the hand drawn like Rayman and Child of Light and Valiant Hearts and stuff like that. It was all hand drawn and it was all like platforms and they were really cool. It reminded me of that. Titan Quest 2 was shown. I don't know if it's a brand new reveal or not because I didn't know if it had been announced before, but that got shown. Gothic Remake was shown again. It was shown. It was announced previously, I think. And then some DLC for Way of the Hunter was announced. But they also had a little teaser from the Little Nightmare creators. So they had this pig come on, like this big huge pig, and it was just kind of like I can't remember what it says. It says something, but it's like there's going to be a full reveal of whatever it is at Gamescom at the opening night live. But then the final thing, which is probably the most exciting things that most people have talked about, is that Darksiders was brought back from the dead almost. It hasn't really been talked about for a while, and everyone looked. I look Darksiders, but they did a very short teaser to say we were aware of Darksiders as a thing, and we're working on a game for it. They basically just went. It started with horsemen, and then there's like these weird golem-esque creatures in a volcano, and it just says horsemen. And then it just says with a tagline, "Be prepared to ride again." So they're working on it. Like they know what they're doing, don't they? With it, I was wondering if we're going to get like a game for Strife proper, because we've not had that yet. But we'll see. But at the end, they did say that they've got 23 games in development, but only 13 of which are unannounced.
Wow.
So there's a lot they haven't shown that they're working on that's not ready yet. So it was short and sweet, but they showed some good stuff that they're happy to show and that's coming up soon. It's better rather than saying we've got this game that's like Elder Scrolls 6, like, oh, we're working on this. There's no point in showing you at this point because it could be another decade away. So they've kind of gone with that. But like it was good to know that they're working on Darksiders, because when they opened it up, all it was in the chat was show Darksiders 4, show Darksiders 4, show Darksiders 4. So it's cool that they are working on it and they acknowledge that people were wanting that. So that was cool.
Well, because they changed direction with Darksiders pretty like they took a severe right turn, didn't they? Like
you think with Genesis?
Yeah, like all like they we've got these like third person like action adventures, and then all of a sudden we've got this like dungeon crawler style.
Yeah, I wonder if that was more. I think I played some of it and I really enjoyed it. I feel like it was more like a side thing to the main games rather than like this is what we are now sort of thing. But I hope that they go back to I always
But you-
liked the concept of Darksiders, that there was going to
Yeah.
be like a game for each of the horsemen, and there may be a final game where they all come together and like it'd be really cool to see what they're going to go with it. But yeah, I feel there's like it always reminds me when Oddworld first came out, and the back of the manual it said this is going to be the start of a quintology. But they've got 5 games and thing, and they still haven't got close to finishing that yet. And it's just like, but I love because I keep remaking the first 2. But like, I'm looking forward to see more Darksiders for definite.
Oh yeah, well because like the last thing we had was Genesis, right? So
yeah.
like the fact that like the last thing we've had is their side project or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Like it just seems so like give us more. We want more.
Do you
Yeah.
think
I'm gonna have
that
to go
they're
back
gonna just kind of Do you think it's possible that they reboot it, not necessarily do number 4, or they just basically take this and redo the first one? I guess maybe.
I don't think so because they did the first 2. They re-released the first 2, didn't they? On the Xbox One and PS4, and then they did Darksiders 3. So I don't know that they really. I don't think they need to, for one. I think Darksiders because they've done a game for each. They've done is it Wrath, Death? I forget the third one, but they haven't done Strife, regardless. But like they need to. I think that is the right call. I think, and then to see if they follow it up with something, I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
They've clearly got a plan in mind. I hope they don't reboot it for the sake of it, because I think that the first 2 were really great. And then I haven't played the third one yet, but I always loved the first one for being like very Zelda-y. I always really liked that.
Isn't it amazing that we went from a world where THQ ceased to exist? Darksiders 3 just sold so horribly, and yet here we are getting another one, and yet also Bungie, all that stuff. It's like, but yet one of the most successful games that's been ongoing for 10 years is.
Well, that's quite interesting because that whole saga is like the things that are coming out now. And obviously it's all rumors, and we don't tend to report on rumors. But there's some bubblings that that Bungie oversold themselves to Sony, like that they were like profitable and stuff like that, and they maybe weren't. Obviously we can't know unless that was like actually confirmed. But it's like, well, is Destiny 2 like one of the best-selling games out there, or sort of whatever else? Because we don't know. If you're not cutting 17% of your staff if it's going well, are you?
Yeah,
right.
Well, especially if Destiny 3's in the works.
It's not.
Just because your DLC and shit sold really well doesn't mean you're managing your money. I know.
Yeah.
I've read in the last few years that so we know that Microsoft doesn't necessarily like micromanaging their studios to a fault in a lot of cases.
Yes. Yes.
I have read that Bungie had to be micromanaged, and this kind of falls into the rumor thing. I have read that Bungie had to be micromanaged with Halo 3. And then there was also rumors about when they were under Activision's thumb that there was a lot of that going on too. And I know a lot of Bungie fans didn't really seem to want to hear that, but now that all of this Sony shit's coming out, now people are coming out of the woodworks and basically fuck you, Bungie, and evidently it's kind of been a rumor for a while. So
it's interesting, isn't it? It's that leadership stuff, isn't it? Because if you need to be micromanaged because you're not following through in like Halo 3 and then under Activision, and then you break away from Activision because you don't like being micromanaged. Actually, you needed it because you can't follow through or whatever else what's going on. The CEOs just buying luxury cars every 60 days or whatever.
Like you look at this latest DLC for Destiny. Like for me in Australia, it was $150 to get all the content. So like the raid and the dungeons and all the seasons pass and all that kind of stuff. Like that's that's a little bit more than double like what a game costs.
Yeah.
And if this is their like greatest selling DLC, and then it like
is it actually their greatest selling DLC?
Well,
I know it reviewed really well, but I thought I remember hearing the sales didn't do all that great. Maybe
that could be the case, but I know that a lot of people came back to Destiny that had left it. Like me for one, like I had given up on Destiny, and then that final DLC came out, and I was like, well, fuck, I was here at the start. I'm gonna be here at the end.
Well, yeah, I heard that DLC was like a callback to a lot of other. I played Destiny once for like 20 minutes and was like, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
But I heard the last DLC was a callback to a lot of older stuff for like the hardcore fans.
Oh
around.
yeah, like back to the
Yeah.
very beginning of Destiny.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I'm seeing that the Final Shape pre-orders. I don't know how reliable this is because it's on Reddit.
Yeah, it's not reliable.
No, that's not reliable.
I couldn't.
Nothing against
fell
Reddit,
out.
but like,
I fell out with Destiny. It was I was really up for it when it first came. Well, first Destiny, I bought Destiny and I bought the expansion pass. It was 35 quid and it contained 3 missions. I was like, no, you're just bilking me for money at this point because that is not worth 35 quid for 2 missions. And then I just did not play it because the what was it the King one that followed the original? I forget the name of it.
That was the best one.
And then I played Destiny 2 because all my friends were getting it, and then again, it just like it just become too much admin. Like to get back into it, there's a million different things that do a million different things. To this person wants that credit, and you have to get that credit. You have to do, and I was like, no, I can't. I've already talked about my backlog being ridiculous. I can't spend my gaming life doing a job. Which is what it felt like. And it felt like too much. And obviously, every year or so, I have to pay another 40 quid to keep playing. Well, because when they locked you out of the content, that's when I really like, no, you can't play the main game unless you have the DLC. And I'm like, Forsaken King. That was it, wasn't it? And just like, no, that's not. Because I used to work at Game at the time. I was like, I had to explain to people that your game doesn't work because you haven't bought the latest thing. And like, that's not good enough, is it? From a consumer perspective, it's not right. You can't lock people out of your game.
Well,
the majority of the game.
You're touching on a big reason why I fell off, or like I would at least come back every other year, because it was that thing of I would find myself going back for the new DLC and getting on the hype train with everybody else, and only to play it and then get my light level really high up there, for only to have it 1 year later be basically back down to 0 essentially. Because I mean, that's the thing, they're not very upfront about. It's like, well, no, now you got to go up to this light level and do all the exact same things you did a year ago for that last expansion. And hey, you spent $60 last year for this DLC, but if you didn't buy it, hey, here, you can have it for $5. Like, we want you to buy the new DLC. That was getting me really pissed off. As a consumer, I'm just like, I keep getting punished for being your loyal player and for being your loyal player and putting in all this time, and yet I am not getting a reward other than the fact of, well, I played it on release date. And ultimately, even that is being backhanded because, again, I've got to go through it again. So how many times do I have to go through the cycle of paying you $60, doing the time, doing the missions, and just to be back to square one? I'm here to do the missions, of course, but when it's like you've made it completely useless a year after I'd done that, then what are we doing here? So yeah, I agree with you, Addy. I understand completely why a lot of people would fall off. I've hopped back into the Final Shape simply for the factor of it's the last one, like, at least as far as big expansion goes. And judging off of the inner workings of Bungie right now, probably the end of Destiny. I mean, I don't mean to be dramatic. I don't mean to be a rumor monger. And again, Gamer Social Club is not about adding to rumors or to have these kinds of conversations. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination we're going to really actually see the end of Destiny. I think Destiny 2 is going to keep going until they eventually see, people don't want a extraction shooter instead of Destiny. Okay, well then maybe we should start working on Destiny 3. I don't think we're going to start seeing Destiny 3 until like 2035 and on.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I was sure that the original Destiny was meant to be like a 10-year project.
It was.
And it was until
Activision
building on it. instead of doing sequels.
Activision, when they bought it out, they're like, no. Hey, listen. We are Activision. We do yearly.
Call of Duty model.
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
Just ridiculous.
I know. It sucks.
Okay, so here's another dilemma that I'm facing. I like Call of Duty, right? I'm not very good at it. It's not something that I religiously play. I do buy the new one every year that it comes out. It comes out with a cool steel case, and I've got them all sitting up there. So this year, it's on Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
My local games store is doing $100 for a steel case.
Oof.
And is this going to be the first year that I don't get it? And I just play what I like on Game Pass, and that's me.
That is the dilemma.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it's coming to Gamecast though, because I had fallen out of Call of Duty. Really, the last one I played was Cold War, and I really enjoyed that, but like really not been interested. I used to love Call of Duty. I used to like you, Fraser. I used to play it every year. World at War is still my favorite one. Remake that, please, because that was banging. Storming the Reichstag, all for that. And just it was ace. And they just wasn't fussed a bit. But bring it to Game Pass, I will come play that again because it's there. It's not paying your equivalent of $100 for that game. But so it depends if you want your collection completed, because I know how that feels.
Right. And so for me, it's Call of Duty's always been about the campaign. Like,
yes, me too.
Those campaigns, those set pieces are epic. Some of them are just epic. And sure, the newest one wasn't so good, but it was still fun. I still really enjoyed it. And I'm still going to play this new one. But I'm not into the multiplayer like I used to be.
No.
So is it worth the $100 now if I'm going to play a 5-hour campaign?
Yeah.
Play some
to
zombies.
be fair, when because we did the I know the last time I was on, we talked about all of the showcases that was on during Summer Game Fest, and one of the ones was obviously the Call of Duty one, and it sounds really interesting. Like I'm actually quite intrigued.
Looks amazing
for the new Black Ops because of what the kind of evolution of what they're doing. I mean, obviously, it could very much be marketing speak, omnidirection, and all that, so omni movement or whatever they've called it. Like that. But it sounds like they're not just doing a FIFA and sitting on the laurels and just upgrading the player names in football. It's they're actually looking at how can we evolve the series and make it more dynamic, and bringing back the original zombies. I'm quite intrigued by that because I hated not when you look at the achievements, I don't know what any of this means. I have to go find the hidden dragon behind the golden egg and go find this and pull it at exactly the right time while I'm holding this weapon. I'll get something that makes me kill zombies better or whatever. Just take me back to the Deriza and let me shoot zombies on that gangway with my STG-44. That's what I'm for.
So good. So good.
So to put my 2 cents into that, because I do agree with Addy. I ask myself kind of the same questions you ask yourself, Fraser. It's like you are going to be playing this for the campaign, and $100 for a campaign that you're probably talking less than 10 hours for sure. Granted, quality is there. Quality will definitely be there. It's a Call of Duty. It always wins awards at, I think it's DICE. It's whatever. I think it's DICE or whoever's out there making progression in the world of making games and development, all that stuff. Anyways, and how they're put together. No, I'm not talking about the actual product compared to everything else, but I know Untitled Goose Game won 1 year because of I can't remember. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but I think the question to ask yourself is how many hours is your dollar worth? That's the question I always ask myself, especially when I look at games like Hellblade, right? It's like I'm putting $50 into this. or well, it was on Game Pass, so I actually didn't straight up buy it. But let's just say you were in that dilemma of spending $50 on Hellblade 2. Now, is that quality, that narrative, that story worth the $50? Right? Going
It's 5
into it,
hours, right?
right?
$10 an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is it
Exactly.
worth $10 an hour?
Exactly.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly. That's my opinion. For a game like Hellblade, I would spend that, but I can see where other people wouldn't. When I look at Mad Max, I spent $5 on it on sale, and I'm like, well, if I don't like this, I hope I at least get 5 hours of game time out of it. That's $1 an hour. So I think you could probably even, if I was you, and I'm not, I would just probably
clarifying that.
But I am.
In case anyone wasn't sure.
That got weird.
I'd probably just wait and see if I can't snatch the steelbook afterwards and spend $30 on the upgrade, which, by the way, I talked about this last week and I'll talk about it again. The Activision upgrades or whatever for Diablo, for Call of Duty, $30 and you get like all this shit. And now you've already got the game through Game Pass, so it's $30 and you get the Battle Pass, you get all this digital shit. So basically, you could go ahead and buy that for $30 and then wait and see what you can get.
I do like they're doing that, but it made me think that because the Starfield one was the same deal, wasn't it? You could buy the thing, but it came with if you bought the physical version, it came with the steelbook and the code, the DLC and stuff. So if they did that option, Trace, you could get the steelbook with the whatever else, and then whenever the game goes down, when the next one comes out, you can pick that up cheap. And because what I was thinking was there's different layers to the value, isn't there? So like you talk about, is Hellblade worth it? I remember Hellblade 1, it was 35 quid, but they donated a proceed of all of the sales to like a mental health charity because it was based in around the psychosis of the character and all that stuff. So that they sold 10,000 copies, they donated X, Y, and Z, and they did the same again when it released on Xbox afterwards. So like they didn't do that with Hellblade 2, although that I know of. They didn't make that same kind of commitment. But the other thing that is like, is your collection only going to be missing that one game, and how much does it bother you that you'll be missing that one game and that one steelbook and stuff like that? Because as a collector, there's the value in having your complete collection and whatever else. And, some people don't see, well, it doesn't matter, does it? But like for you, who's a collector, how much does that weigh into your? Is it worth it? I guess as well.
There's also the thing of like at the moment, like I'm going through and I'm buying up just like random. There's some sort of excitement in finding these things secondhand. Like you go to a Salvation Army or like a secondhand shop, and like you see something and you're like, "What?"
A treasure hunter.
Yeah. So there's an element of that to it as well. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna drop the $100 for the steelbook. I think
go treasure hunting in 6 years' time for the steelbook.
Exactly.
See if there's a Salvation Army.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
To throw my 2 cents in, and I think I've talked about this a few weeks ago. I haven't played a Call of Duty since Call of Duty 2, so like I don't have a dog in this fight. But what I would ask Frazier and what I would ask our audience is, are you playing on Xbox? Because if you are, you got to pay for online anyway. So that's something to consider too. Me being a PC master dork, I don't have to worry about paying for online. If I want Game Pass, I pay for PC Game Pass. I get the games.
Yeah.
I get rid of it. As I've told you guys, I don't subscribe year round anymore. Even the last couple of years on console, I didn't do that. But that's something to consider too. Is you're already, I know they're screwing up the tiers, so I'm not sure at this point what they're getting rid of. We talked about it a while ago, so I'm not even sure what tiers all have online anymore.
Yeah.
So it's
like
Microsoft.
all tiers have online now, don't they? Apart from the PC one, because it doesn't need it, but all tiers have online now. Yeah.
But like sorry, carry on, Russell.
No, I was just gonna say that's something that's a big consider too. Do you really want to drop it'll be $70 in America, at least the standard version. For you, it'll be 100 or whatever.
about
Do you want to
100.
drop that and then still have to pay for some sort of Game Pass because you have to, or maybe
Yeah.
you don't think about that because you have Game Pass and that's just is what it is. I don't know.
I was gonna say that's how I think, because it's like I've already got it, so it's
Yeah.
I get it regardless.
So-
But yeah, I know what you mean. I do know what you
For
mean.
me, I only
Hmm.
need to play 2 games to make it worth it. Like,
Yeah.
To make so
we appear to have a guest star in Nathan's chair.
Nathan
Good
got
shot. Get away.
little.
Don't worry. I don't think they can hear us.
Yeah, Nathan got little.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
He's had one of
that-
those shrinking, like from Alice in Wonderland. He's had a piece of cake, and he's got
Yeah.
very tiny.
like the Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button.
Well, I guess like that kind of leads us on to like what I really wanted to talk about today, and like the closing of the 360 store. Like,
Rest in peace.
what? So I jumped on it a couple of times because I was following like something on Twitter that was like dropping like all the sales that were happening.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. Well, I'll jump on and I'll have a look. What a awful store it was. Holy cow! It like having to. Oh, I
didn't even use the 360 store. I went and bought. I spent about 70 quid on the 3 before they all got delisted and stuff like that. I've never played, never heard of. Won't get elsewhere because it's digital only or whatever else.
Yeah.
And I didn't even use the 360 store. I used the 360 store on PC, just like on the web browser, and that was horrendous. Like, it was easy to navigate because you just search for your game, but like it wouldn't load. You had to keep reloading every time I tried to buy something. The thing wasn't like, I had to keep refreshing all the time. Just a mess. Like it was just a sign of its time, is it? It's 19 years old. It's creaking. It's But
and like you couldn't even go into like just browse, like at thing. You had to like know exactly what you wanted, and go to the letter L. And find the letter L, and then go across. Oh my goodness. But like, yeah, like thinking back on it, like having to buy those credits, like that was something else. Like a DLC would come out, and you'd have to like nip off down to the store to buy some credits to buy the DLC.
Yeah. I need to buy this. I need to buy Explosion Man for 400 Microsoft points. I'm gonna go buy it.
Yeah. But then, like, and everything came with like those dynamic themes. I was looking through, like, I had so many of those dynamic themes. But like, so do you guys have like a standout 360 moment, like where you're like, this is peak? Like, I reckon like the PlayStation 3 360 is like, that's gaming at its peak. Like, new stuff is great, it's pretty, but I just, it doesn't have as much substance as some of these other. Like, I was playing through like Kane and Lynch, for instance. Do you guys
I loved Kane and Lynch.
like, though, like 1 and 2? What incredible games they were.
Yeah, I loved them.
was-
No, they were scrappy, but they were great. They were so
like,
fun.
Kane and Lynch 2, and like how it was set in, I think it was set in Japan. It was either Japan or China.
It's the second one, wasn't it? Like, because it was like it had the shit. It's like somebody was following around with a camera, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like being filmed in like
and it was all censored. There was that scene where you were naked and it had the blurred out butt, and you're running through the streets with like dual Uzis, completely naked after you've just been tortured, so you're all bloody, and you're like just destroying police like left and right. So good. So, and like the multiplayer that they had with that, where you could like betray your teammates.
Yeah, it was so good.
Like, so much fun. So much fun. Yeah. And like, so the 360 for me was like, that was when I was like, do you know what? I think I love gaming.
Yeah.
That was my thing of like, I think like Assassin's Creed came out, and I was like, this is like nothing I've ever played before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. What Mass Effect as well? That was around that era.
Yeah, 2007, one of the best years in gaming ever.
Yeah, yeah. Got like Gears of War. I remember because I was a huge fan of that movie Donnie Darko.
Still never
And
watched that.
It's a great film. It's a really good film. It's like Jake Gyllenhaal, like, and he's like fucking a fetus. I think he's only like 17 or something.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. The second one's but
Yeah, yeah. But there was the song in it, that Mad World
Mad
song.
World, yeah.
Yeah. And then they used that in the Gears of War
3.
thing, and it's just like this is it. We're here. We're alive during this time.
Yeah, that fucking that hit me to a point with the Gears of War stuff when they did the E-Day trailer. I cried through like half of that trailer for various reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one, but
it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then like I've just like looking through all my like 360 games over here, like, you know what, BioShock, that was 360 era, wasn't it?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
2007, one of the best years in gaming.
Yep. Army of Two, another.
Army 2 is great.
I think they ended up being 3 games of that, didn't there?
Yeah.
Army of 2, Army of 3, and Army of 4.
Wait, what are we talking about? I love Army of 2.
Hey, Nathan.
Hello.
Yeah. We're talking about Army of 2.
We were talking about the guest star we had there for a minute on your end.
You had Benjamin Buttoned yourself.
Yeah, all of a sudden you got a lot smaller.
Was there some cake that says "Don't eat me" or "Eat me," whichever made the shrink?
I looked over at him. I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious." I like looked down at the clock and I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna be late for work." So I had to like start like getting ready to run out the door. So you guys can keep going. I'll keep it recording. I'll have Megan turn it off.
How much longer have you got?
0 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Wait, that sucks.
Tell us your favorite 360 games.
Wait, favorite 360 games? Ah, crap. We're on that part of things.
Yeah.
Oh man, and I can't believe we were talking about Army of 2 as well.
Yeah.
You know what? I could probably join in the Discord call from my phone. Let's see.
Discord and Drive.
My favorite 360 games.
Too Human
or
was
like
another one.
standout memory. If you've got something just like so you're in the conversation. What's your?
You know, that's such a hard one because I mean I don't know. I think of the 360 era, and I just got so many fond memories. Like I don't know, that was just like the golden years of gaming for me.
Yeah.
I love what Russell's got in his hands because I had that.
I mean, Oblivion was such a good one.
Amazing edition.
I mean, probably Halo Reach is probably going to have to be the go-to.
Shout, Halo Reach, incredible game. Oh, there it is, twice.
Yeah. I mean, aside from RuneScape, I don't think I've put more hours into any other game ever other than Halo Reach. I mean, maybe Halo 3 would be right below it, but what a special game. And not to mention, like, during that time, my youth group that I was a part of, everyone played Halo Reach. So it was like everyone in my life at that moment in time was playing the same game, and we were all getting on every single night, staying up till 1 a.m. every single day playing Halo Reach. And I've never had that again later. I just
you got a child that really wants some attention.
I'm telling you, I'm babysitting tonight. Like they are making themselves very prevalent. I'll see if I can't try to like join in via Discord and just like put you all in an earbud. But you guys just keep going. I gotta head off to work. But if I can't join in via Discord, then yes, it was good talking to you all as well.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So, like Halo 3, I got repping the Halo.
Yeah.
That was the first time that I went to like a midnight launch. That was Halo 3 was my first midnight launch.
Nice.
And I like called in sick to work the next day. Like
you still work there now?
No,
It's the same place. Okay,
no,
sorry.
no.
I didn't know how long-standing your coffee roasting has been.
And it was just like, I
Oh,
remember
no.
going home, and I think when I
Oh, cool,
got
I still have it.
Halo 3, I also had to go through, and my gamer tag that I had as my offline gamer tag like was already taken on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
So I had to like create this new gamer tag, and I remember stressing out about it because again, it costs like 800 Microsoft points to change it.
You got one free change and then you get to pay 800 Microsoft points, didn't you?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's like that's insane. That's so much money. So I sat there for a good hour trying to be like, what am I gonna do? What gamer tag do I choose?
Yeah.
And yeah, and then like diving into Halo 3, like wow, what a thing, because like, you know, Halo 2 was like the original Halo 2 was the original Xbox,
Yes, it was.
and then Halo 3 was the first 360 one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I want a special shout out to Halo Reach because that's a good shout from Nathan because that
Yeah.
that brought me back to Halo because I played Halo 3 and I played ODST, but Halo 2 did not sit well with me when I first
Yeah.
played it. For
Yeah.
whatever reason, I just didn't get on with it. It was when I think we got to the same room in Halo 2 that you get to in Halo 1 and the flood come, and then the flood came. I was like, and that's not the whole of Halo 2. I know it's not. But
Yeah.
at the time, I was like, not bothered. And then, but Halo 3, I got back into that, and then Halo Reach, though, just an amazing game. And because you know the story of Reach, you know, like,
Yeah.
it does not end well. Like, just like,
Yeah.
it's more harrowing. Like, the fighting for it, it's like, oh, for nothing. Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. I love
What
it.
about you, Russell? What have your
Well, okay, before we get into that, I'm curious, Fraser, you've got the same version of the Oblivion special edition. How
Yep.
much stuff does yours have in it? Because I got something interesting with. How long have you had yours? First of all,
So funnily enough, I had this on launch. I bought this when it came out,
I
but
had the one
obviously as life happens, like I sold stuff, I got rid of stuff,
yeah,
I
shit
lost
happens.
stuff. I came across this at like a secondhand shop, and it was expensive. I think it was about $40. But I was like, I have to have it. It came with this like coin.
Yes.
Okay, so
Like,
I got that. I got
Yeah.
that. I have a specific reason I'm asking because I got
yeah,
an interesting version. I
Yeah.
bought mine online last
Signed
year
by
or the year
Patrick
before.
Stewart.
No, nothing like that. So mine came from Canada. The reason I'm asking, actually, whoever sold it to me, I don't know if they were original buyer or not, but they were goodly enough to leave their receipt in the box. So
Ooh.
whoever bought this on launch day for $94.61 Canadian. So that's an
Wow.
interesting piece of history.
Wow.
The reason I ask, I have 2 manuals and 2 books. One's in English, the other set's, I assume, in French.
Oh yeah, French Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah, this copy was bought in Winnipeg.
Yeah. No,
And
I
I
don't.
know that there's some provinces there that are very French. So I was just wondering, did you get 2 manuals and 2 books, or
No.
did you just get one?
No.
Okay. So this must be
Mine's
like,
only in English.
yeah, so this must be like some weird specific Canadian, and I've got, the game and then the bonus DVD as well, and the map.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't come with 2 maps, but yeah, I thought this was really, really
Yeah, that is cool.
strange.
But
Yeah,
like they said, like French Canadian, like of course it does.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that they do that though, for like when it's appropriate to do so. I wonder if they still do
Yeah.
that now
Yeah.
for certain editions.
Well, I don't even think like special editions even come with anything
Well, no,
in them.
yeah, they don't do manuals
except
anymore, do they?
yeah, except digital shit anyway.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. So you like Russell, have you got anything that you're like
So
like
of course we all know at this point, everyone that's been on the podcast knows I'm a Bethesda whore. So it
Yeah.
wasn't my first 360 wasn't my first rodeo with Bethesda, because I had played Morrowind on the original Xbox, which is an atrocious experience. Do not
Oh, yes.
play. It's a fun game. It's a fun game, but you die, and it literally takes like 5 or 6 minutes to reboot after that.
Oh,
It's
dear.
awful. It's fucking awful. Do not.
Oh,
I would almost hazard, if that's your only way of playing it, just don't play it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So I never came close to beating it, but it was a fun experience. And then I got a 360, and the first Bethesda game I got for the 360 was Oblivion, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And then Fallout 3 came out. I
Yeah.
didn't get Fallout 3 on launch, but I did get it before the Broken Steel, because I remember making it to the point where you're with the water purifier, and you get to end game and you're stuck.
Yeah.
And then the Broken Steel DLC came out, and so you were talking about Microsoft points. I don't remember if it was 800 or 1600.
Yeah, they were
whichever one it
800
was.
each.
But I went and got my points, and then I put them in my 360 and waited like 2 weeks and bought that. It kept the story going so that your game didn't end, basically.
Yeah,
And then it upped
that's
your
right.
level cap, I think 10 levels. And then bought each individual DLC as they came out after that. Some were better than others, as happens in Bethesda games.
Yeah.
And then that leads me to Fallout New Vegas, which, oh, that I bought at launch, and that was so frustrating. Because in my opinion, you could tell there was a great game underneath there, but that game was so fucking broken at launch. I had that was the first time that I remember in my life dealing with hard crashes and freezes. It was just fucking awful.
Yeah.
I have an interesting story, a PS to that though. So they announced that they were gonna patch it. So I didn't have internet at my house, but I did at work. But there was no monitor or anything for me to hook up my 360 to. So I memorized what you needed to do to connect to the internet and then download the patch. And I literally took it to work. I started up my 360 and just by memory did everything I was supposed to do, and then brought it home on my lunch break to make sure that I had done everything correctly. And I had. That's how far I went to make Fallout New Vegas playable, because I wanted to play it so bad.
Amazing. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
which I know sounds fucking insane. But and it still had crashes and freezes after that, but it was much more like you couldn't get more than like a half an hour of gameplay before the game. It usually didn't crash. It usually froze, and when it did, there was a 50-50 shot that it was going to be accompanied by an irritating It was just so fucking awful. Again, great fucking game. Play it wherever now. It runs fucking awesome. But at launch, it was just so fucking bad. And luckily, even if you're playing it on 360, all the patches and stuff are in the Game of the Year edition. So I just that was my first. That was the first, like, my introduction into, oh well, we'll release it and then we'll just patch it later. And to be fair to Obsidian, they had like the 18-month window or whatever it was with the IP where they wanted to do it, and Bethesda's like, yeah, you can do it, but you got they basically, I don't know how it went out, but they got a release date from Bethesda, or they agreed on one, and shan't that miss, basically. So they either released it at that and it was broken, or they weren't going to release it. So
Well,
it
that was even
what
back
it was.
back before the 360 you didn't even have to be online for it to work. Like
Well, no.
it just worked, and you didn't even have to install games on it. Like the game was on the disc, and you put the disc
and
in.
even at launch, I don't even know that you could. I think it was later that
it was
they added.
Like, I remember, like, I was at work, and my work colleague was like, "Dude, did you hear about this new thing that Xbox has done? You can like install the games on the hard drive."
Yeah.
We thought that meant you didn't need the disc at all.
So that wasn't
we ran off down to because like New Zealand, we don't really have the internet back then. Like it was around, but it was fucking expensive, and not everyone had it. So like again, like Russell, like we'd all have to go to someone's house with our stuff to like download whatever. So we ran off down to the video store and rented a bunch of games and
Then
like
installed
Thinking,
them all.
I
and
can
installed
already
them
see
all.
where this is going.
And then took them back, and then we were like, "Fuck, the games don't work."
I had a similar thing, but because I bought some games or like online or whatever, and they were really scratched and didn't work or whatever else. So because I worked in game, I took my Xbox in, installed the game from a copy in the store from a pre-owned copy,
Yep.
and then my disc would work because it just needed it as a boot disc, and so
Oh,
I managed to make it work. So like it would still
Brilliant.
work. Yeah.
And like with the 360, and like you could the game was already on the disc. Like you didn't have to do that day one
No.
update. Like there was,
Yeah.
and I remember
I
the
mean-
first time I didn't have the internet. Like I can't remember where I was living, but I didn't have the internet, and I bought this Transformers game, and I put it in my Xbox, and then it was like, oh, you need to update to play this, and it's like, well, I don't have the internet, I can't update it, like, and so I took it back, and that was like the first time where I couldn't play a game because I wasn't online.
Yeah. I remember that being a lifesaver when you could play it offline, because I remember moving house and we were going to have internet for 2 weeks. Gears of War Judgment had just come out, so I picked up Gears of War Judgment, and just like that was my life-saving thing while I was waiting for my internet to come back on, because I'd play online quite a lot of it in the 360 era. I just played Gears. It was just like I could still play it. It was great.
Yeah, it was so good, wasn't it? Like and like they had the arcade, the little arcade games.
Yeah.
And they were, I think they were
Great
400 credits.
400 Microsoft points, yeah.
And they only had 400 achievement points.
Oh, not even that. To that, it was like 200.
Was it 200? No, yeah, you're right. It was 200. Yeah.
And then some of the later ones were 400G. Yeah.
Yeah, and like because I played the first Alan Wake, and then the Alan Wake American Nightmare came out, and I was like, oh my god! And I got it, and I was like, what? 200 points? What is this?
Yeah.
So to cut in for a second, I paused myself and shit because I was grabbing a few things. Obviously. So funnily enough, to take us three down to memory lane. I on eBay, I think last year, I bought Command and Conquer 3 and Command and Conquer Red Alert 3. I played and beat these three on Xbox 360. It came with, I don't know if this came with Command and Conquer 3 originally when I bought it. I don't remember it doing it, but it came with one of the 48-hour Xbox Live trials.
It's amazing. Yep.
I haven't actually even peeled off the code, which obviously would be fucking worthless now.
Because they won't work now,
Yeah, so the Command and Conquer games were awesome. Of course, BioShock, Grand Theft Auto 4, Resident Evil 5.
I bought the Grand Theft Auto
Dead Rising,
5.
and of course the Fallouts.
Yeah, I think the Grand Theft Auto 5 special edition with the body bag and the like the bank lockbox, that was fucking pretty cool. I think I've still got the lockbox around somewhere.
Wow.
But and the New Vegas, when New Vegas came out, it came out with like a poker set.
The poker set, yes.
The New Vegas poker set.
I have been trying to find that fucking that special edition of New Vegas for a decent price for years, and I just haven't been able to. I have the graphic novel that came with it though. Because once I figured out, me being a huge comic book fan, once I figured out there was a Fallout comic book anything, I had to have it. So.
I've got the poker set somewhere, and I've got the lunchbox from Fallout 3.
Yep.
That version
I didn't
as well.
I didn't get the lunchbox. That was
like. I kind of, if you guys have the special edition of New Vegas, and Addy, if you have the special edition of Fallout 3, I kind of hate both of you right now. But anyway, I am super jealous of that.
I lived in a share house when New Vegas came out, and like the poker set came out on like a drinking night one night, and I just got destroyed. And so like that's gone. That was a thing that's been in.
Yeah.
It's just one of those life lessons, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I can't show it to you because it's over there, but I think you guys might have seen it in the Discord. I've got a Xbox 360 display setup from like the old record stores that used to.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I
it's got
think I do remember that. Yeah.
got the Samsung television, flat screen Samsung television, and the
Unlocking a memory there. Unlocking a
right,
memory there.
and yeah, it's got the two controllers that are like connected
Yeah,
to the.
yeah. I
Yeah.
used to work in when I still work for game, but when I went to uni, I went to a different city, and I was working in a department store. And they had this set up, and I was the manager, so I could open it up and put the game in. I always put Burnout Revenge in because the soundtrack to Burnout Revenge was like my jam, and I was like, yes, and I discovered like Billy Talent and loads of other bands from just having Burnout Revenge on in this department store, who everybody else hated because I was like, oh yeah, because their rubbish music was on a 30-minute loop, and I had like some banging tunes on over in the in the game store, like stuff like that.
Love
Was great.
that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
I remember.
I'm sure. Sorry, carry on.
One of the I was thinking one of the I have quite a few that are kind of just spring into mind in terms of like memories around the 360. One of the main ones is around Bioshock, which is my favorite game. But I remember downloading the demo for Bioshock and playing it, and the start of Bioshock when you come out of the water after the planes crash, and he surfaces, and there's the fire going, and I thought it was still a cutscene.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, because it looks too pretty to be playable. And then I was like, oh, actually, nothing's happening. Can I move? And I moved. I was like, oh my god. Okay, right. This is I was like, this is the start of something special here.
Yeah.
Like from just that, the way they presented it, I was just like, wow. Okay.
That's so cool.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And it happened again when I played the main game. Like I played it like 2 months prior. And I was still like, "Where's the game?" Start like, "Oh no, it was the game." Yeah.
Another big one for me was Far Cry 2.
Oh yeah. With the I always remember like just correct my thumb, put out the fire, and like jab yourself with. Oh yeah, it was cool, man.
I had like again, my friend had the internet, so we would go over to his place and play Far Cry 3 online, and it was so cool. I'm sure it's not now, but like, and you could build your own levels. In Far Cry 2.
Yeah.
Like, how long ago was that? We were building our own levels. Like, oh man.
I like the idea that Unreal Tournament players is like, we've had that for decades.
And
do you guys remember playing the Grand Theft Auto games? You could do this on the original Xbox, and you could do this on the 360. You could do this with wrestling games too, but like with GTA, you'd put the disc in and you could download music from it. And then in Grand Theft Auto, the music could be your radio stations.
Yeah.
And in the wrestling games, I'm big Addy. If you don't already know, I think I've exposed myself at least once on one of the other podcasts. I'm a huge wrestling nerd. I don't know if you could do this with the original Xbox, but with the 360, you could make your downloaded music your created wrestlers' entrance themes, and I thought that was just like the coolest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
Cool.
Love stuff like that.
I remember Rainbow Six Vegas 2.
Oh yes.
You could have, I don't know what the original Xbox 360 like camera was called.
Yes, it was a camera on it you could see.
Yeah, it wasn't the Kinect at that point.
No, it was just a camera. It was just like a webcam type thing. Was it?
So one of my mates had it. And so like we'd go over to his place and you could put your face on your Rainbow Six operator.
Yep.
Like, and I think there was an achievement around that as well.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. My favorite thing, the use of the camera, was on Burnout Paradise. And every time you crash it, someone would take a photo of you, and if your mate had it, it'd take a photo of you when you got crashed into or you got wrecked, and it'd like show you the face.
So cool.
Like that's a good use of the camera,
right? And then like when the Kinect, like they did some stuff with the Kinect, they could have done more with it, but like some of the Kinect stuff was so cool. Like
Dance Central, I love Dance Central.
Yep.
So fun.
I think it was Mass Effect 3. you could use the Connect to change weapons.
Oh, okay.
So you could be like shotgun, and you'd pull out your shotgun. And then like Skyrim had that update where you could like scream the shouts, and he would do it. Like that is so cool.
Yes.
That is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm just looking through like a little list of stuff that I've written down here. Too Human. Did you guys ever play that?
I remember the incredibly long revive scene. Well, you die, and then the angel comes down, and
Yeah.
it took forever, and then she'd
Yeah.
bring you up, and then you would eventually revive.
Yeah.
I remember that working in game, and it was meant to be like this big new franchise. It was going to be a trilogy, and it did not sell at all. And we were selling it for £1 a copy at one point.
Yeah.
Just
Well, it's been delisted, and I actually think like the people that like, please, I'm gonna don't take my word on this, but I think the people that ended up making it and releasing it didn't own the IP or something like that, and
Yeah.
it was like released, and then someone was like, "That's my game," or something like
Wow.
that, and then it got pulled down, and you can only just buy physical copies of it now. There's no
All right.
yeah.
Madness.
There's some kind of rigmarole around it.
So I just pulled the game up and went to a Reddit link. I don't know the details, but this thing is it's Too Human, and this thing is titled a $60 million disaster.
Yeah.
The controversial tragedy of Too Human. I don't know. I'm gonna have to read. Oh, it's a link to a YouTube video. I'm gonna have to read or whatever about this. I remember owning the game, and then I don't know what year did this come out, because I had a little bit of a conflict. Do you guys have any idea?
I want to say 2008, but that's a total guess.
Yeah.
So I remember.
Oh, it was 2008. Oh my god, I am well happy with
that.
So that would have conflicted. Let me.
Yep.
And
because I think the controls, like your left stick was movement, and then your right stick was attack. So it was a third person.
Oh yeah.
And you would hold the right stick to the left, and you'd like shoot left or right or whatever fucking way I'm facing. Like yeah, it was, and then like they tried to do the ranged and melee, and like it was looking back on it, I'm pretty sure I enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I put quite a few hours into it.
You're pretty sure you enjoyed it. Is not the resounding endorsement
Yep.
that you would expect to get from a game.
Yeah, right.
See, I remember owning a physical copy of Too Human. I'm staring at the New Vegas release date, and that's 2010. So it must have been when did Fallout 3 launch? Because I remember owning it, and then whenever I was on a fucking Bethesda game, I would buy games, and then I'd get engulfed. So Fallout 3 was 2008. So I'm gonna say I probably got Too Human 2008, 2009, somewhere, maybe used, I don't know. But I would buy a game or two, and then I'd get into a Bethesda game, and it would just get shelved, and I would never go back to it. Basically, I did that with that. I am going to disappoint some Bethesda fans, probably. I have never finished Skyrim. I have never come anywhere close to beating it.
Yeah.
And that might hit some people the wrong way. And it's a good game. I think on Steam I've got, a few hours into it, whatever the hell it is, and I've enjoyed what I've played of it. But it didn't, for whatever reason, it didn't grab me like Fallout 3. It didn't grab me like Oblivion. I don't.
Because what
didn't grab
did
me
it
like
come
Morrowind.
out? It came out after Fallout 3, was it?
Yeah.
I want to say it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it? I want to say 2000. I want to say 2011. It may have been before that. A version, I'm sure, probably dropped in 2011, just because.
You're right, 2011.
Yeah. My first Bethesda experience was Oblivion.
Yeah, me too.
And then I went on to Fallout 3. My mate got the lunchbox one, and I didn't. and I always hated him for that. and then and then Skyrim, and I much prefer the Fallout series to the Elder Scrolls series.
Me too.
I just do.
Also, a lesser known Bethesda title I've got sitting in here in my hand is Hunted the Demon's Forge.
Oh, I played that. I didn't know it was Bethesda.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, it's En Exile. Bethesda, I think.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if they owned En Exile at the time, and it actually came with an 11-11-11 flyer for Skyrim too. I've also got the insert for the DLC too, which is probably worthless at this point. But it's got the code on the back.
Nice.
I'm back in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess it's just a Griffin pack. So it's a couple bows and a bracer.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't played
whatever
this in
that
quite
is.
a while,
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't played this in a while.
No, neither. Another one that what they based Warframe off, Dark Sector. I don't know if you ever played that. Where's that? Dark Sector. So like essentially, like if you look at the cover, like the glaive.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah. I never played it, but I remember that cover.
Huge weapon in Warframe, and like you pretty much are like the original Warframe in this. And then this was fun. This was a really good game. I might play this again soon.
Also, apparently this is like controversial to say, but one of my all-time favorite games, Devil May Cry 4. Apparently, when it came out, there was a lot of people that didn't like it. Apparently, they didn't like Nero. I don't know what the fuck crawled up their asses and died, but I thought this game was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was.
I thought introducing Nero and the Devil Arm was fucking sick. I don't know I don't know what their problem was, but
I agree. It was. I think that and 5 are the only 2 Devil May Cries that I've like finished. I didn't finish any of the earlier ones.
I've played 1. I've beaten 1 and I've beaten 4. And I've played 3 and I played a little bit of 2, enough to know that I didn't like it. And then I've played a little bit of 5, and then I've played them all on one level or another. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But Devil May Cry 4 is fucking awesome in my opinion.
Yeah. And Borderlands, we talked about that before. Like Borderlands was a 360 PlayStation 3 era. And it was like it was definitely the first looter shooter that I'd ever played. Whether there were looter shooters before it or not, I don't know. But it was just like so wild. It was so, and like I played it with a friend, and I even think that it was like shared loot at that point. So like you'd be fighting, and then like old mate would run off, and you'd be like, "He's gonna get that gun before I get to it." Oh, so good, so good.
One of my favorite 360 memories is Gears 3, an insane campaign, and there was just a regular bunch of us who'd always play games together and online stuff. And because Gears 3 was 5-player co-op, we just went through the campaign, and I just remember us fighting Queen Mira on that flying fucking bug with the Theron guards coming at you from both sides on insane, and it was just an absolute like, can we do this? And when we did it, it was such a stand up from your chair, like, yes, we did it, sort of thing. It was just like one of my favorite gaming memories is just like that success. And we've been through it all together. And just people from all over the country that we just like. It's most of them, cool. There's me and my mate who actually knew, and the rest of us were just people we didn't know who we just met online. And it was just like, it was so cool to just do that with people. And then one of them came to my 30th birthday.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
Never met them before, and he came down from Newcastle, which is like 3 or 4 hours away, and he just came down just to we'd met on Xbox 360, no idea who he was or in real life, and he just came down like fair play. That's
That's
yeah,
very cool. The
love that.
I cheesed that. So you know how I know. So you know how you can do like 2-player split screen?
Yeah. Oh, you had one set to easy and one set to insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had my profile set to insane, and then I had like another profile set to easy, and like
Yeah.
my insane profile just sat at the back, and I just played the game through.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Didn't have any friends back then. Maybe I don't know what. I don't know what was going
Well,
on.
with acts like that, I'm not surprised, to be honest.
Yeah. Right. Oh, so good. So good. Well, shall we end this here? Like, I think unless anyone else has like got something like wild that they want to share. Crackdown was
Oh,
another massive one.
Crackdown was fun.
Fucking Crackdown. I had one agility orb and I couldn't find it. And then when I went, obviously, to change, I had to start my game again because the save just disappeared. Even though I uploaded it to the cloud when I moved to Xbox One, just not there. And and I have to do the whole game again to find that. It's just the only 2 achievements I've got left in Crackdown are agility orbs and the other orb, hidden orbs. And I was way off with the hidden orb. I know I had 1 agility orb to find that. I was so angry I couldn't find one. What?
There was
thing.
There was one collectible on Destroy All Humans that I couldn't find.
All right.
And I remember that, like having to, and I looked up a guide online back in the day on my $5 internet that I had, and it was like the dial up and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
And and like I found the guide and I went through the guide and the guide was wrong, and this collectible was not there.
Gutted.
So yeah, but they've just. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't know that I could get through this without. It would be sacrilege not to mention Left 4 Dead.
Oh
yeah, Left 4 Dead.
I don't know how we haven't mentioned it sooner. What a game! What a game!
Amazing.
Yeah, that was and then like Left. I think Left 4 Dead 2 was the one that stuck with my friend group.
Yeah, me too. Same.
2 was fun. There's like an atmosphere in 1 that like 2 didn't recreate very well for whatever reason for me.
I know what you mean. I get that.
Yeah, there's an atmosphere, and then you hear the witch crying, and then you're like, "Oh shit, where is she?" And then you accidentally run into her, and she screeches, and you're like, "Fuck!"
Yep. Yeah, and the elevator doors are slowly closing, and you're like, "Come on, come on!"
Yeah.
Or you're getting into the safe house, and you're like, "Everyone, get in and shut the fucking door! She's gonna kill us!"
Yeah.
Fucking...
Did either of you get into that Back 4 Blood?
I played it quite a bit, but
I played it. It was okay.
Raw.
Yeah.
Same with Evolve as well. Like the idea was there, but it didn't feel like it didn't grab you in the same way.
Yeah.
I've been looking for a Left 4 Dead replacement for years. That Evil v Evil I played, I was thinking that might be that, but it wasn't. And no one's fucking playing Evil v Evil.
I had a lot of fun with World War Z.
I enjoyed that. Yeah, that was fun.
World War Z was fun too.
I did play that quite a bit. But again, like all of my friends that I played this stuff with, we've all drifted. And so like going back to these games now, like I'm not going to play them by myself. And chances are I'm probably not going to play them with randoms either. So
I've played the original Left 4 Dead with some randos online, and sometimes it was fun, and sometimes you get people. Jesus Christ is all I'll fucking say. The things they're willing to say, I consider myself a hard person to offend, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys, come on.
Yeah, right.
I just thought about we thinking about multiplayer games. Battlefield Bad Company.
Yep.
Specifically, like I love both of them, but Battlefield Bad Company 2 online was so much fun. Like the destruction then was pared down for like 3 and 4 or whatever else, but Like, just sat. I remember being sat with a rocket launcher in a building that was collapsing around me, and then running out on the off chance and firing at a helicopter and taking it down. And I'm like, I did that, and we won the game. And I was like, this is amazing. I'm like,
Yep.
just that playing field of just the toys you could play with in that game was just amazing. But with the destructible environment, it's just so much fun. I love it. They just need to do Bad Company 3. I just wish they'd do that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would be on board with that.
Yeah.
Was Oblivion behind Brink? Did they do not Oblivion,
Bethesda.
Bethesda? Was Bethesda
Yeah.
behind Brink?
Was it Arcane? I think Arcane did Brink. I might be wrong. I might be making it up, but
Yeah.
Bethesda were definitely involved with it.
Yeah. And so like that was fun.
I got it, but I haven't played it.
Yeah, I remember having lots of fun with that. But again,
Flash
it was
damage.
it was a like a full on multiplayer. There was no like real campaign, and I remember playing it and just kind of not really understanding it properly. Of this like multiplayer only, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else? I've got like two of my favorite games on the 360. The Batman Arkham Asylum is up there as one of my favorite games. It's like playing the cartoon from the 90s. Just an incredible game. Like, that blew my mind. Like, you played Superman on the N64, then you go to Batman on the 360. You're like, wow, okay, that's a different.
There was those Hulk games.
I haven't played the Hulk ones
on the 360, and then like you're like, well, okay, and then they made that Iron Man one as well, and that was fucking shit.
Deadpool on the 360, and then the Xbox One. But like, Deadpool was so good, like as a video game, so much fun.
I read something last night about the Deadpool game. Apparently, you can buy a digital copy for $500.
Sounds about right.
That's insane.
Digital.
I've got physical copies here.
Yeah, right. So, I think it's something to do with the licensing. Like,
I thought it was the list that you could buy anymore. Or is it like a spare code that people still have?
I think people bought up some spare codes that.
Right.
Yeah, but I remember playing that. Like, brilliant fun, brilliant fun. But you're like those Hulk games, and you're like, oh, this is what a superhero game is. Like, open world, flying around, jumping around, smashing shit. But yeah, like you say, like Batman, like that was like something else.
Yeah. Never played a game like that before.
No. Brilliant.
So I don't really give two shits about Metacritic, to be honest, but the top 10 list for the Xbox 360 is kind of interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Number 10 was Gears of War. Number 9 was Batman Arkham City, which is a little surprising.
I didn't really Arkham. Well, it's good, but I like the sound better.
And this is all ranked by Metacritic score. Portal 2 made 8. The original Red Dead Redemption 7, Elder Scrolls, Skyrim 6, Mass Effect 2 5. The Orange Box is 4. That's interesting. BioShock is 3, and then this surprises me a little bit. I figured these would be reversed. Grand Theft Auto 5 is number 2, and Grand Theft Auto 4 is number 1.
Oh,
that's.
I haven't finished either of those.
Yeah. What was number 3? I missed number 3.
BioShock.
BioShock. Yeah. Okay.
I'm a little surprised Halo 3 isn't in the top 10. It made 13.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Wild. Can you believe that like we're still playing Grand Theft Auto 5? Like it's been through what, 3 generations?
I mean, have you looked at the like outlines of what Rockstar used to release versus what they've released 2 games in the last like 15 years or something crazy?
Madness, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they had back in the 360 era and before that they had multiple releases every year.
Well, they'd start
Red Dead Redemption, LA Noire, GTA 4, GTA 5.
Well, no, I was going to say Mad Max, not Mad Max. Max Payne. They did
Max Payne 3, yeah.
Max Payne 3, and I believe was The Suffering. Was that Rockstar?
That was Rockstar. No, Manhunt.
Man,
I don't think
They have
Manhunt
Manhunt, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't. Do they
Released it on the
still?
Wii, Manhunt 2.
Yeah. Do they actually own the Manhunt IP or?
Oh,
I don't know. Were they the publisher for it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. But
No, no. Do you guys think you'll play any 360 stuff in the next couple of months?
I was
I
playing.
mean, on the 360, no. But like, I still play. I still go back to Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I want to play those definitely. I've got a few that aren't backwards compatible. I want to go to like Black Site. I did the multiplayer achievements, boosted those recently with some people online, but I want to go do the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. And things like Syndicate. I'm just looking at my list here. I've got to finish Bioshock 2 on 360. There's a couple of the DLC ones I want to finish off, and Bioshock is one of my favorite series. I feel like I have to finish them off properly. I haven't played Batman Arkham Origins either, and I need to finish that. I need to play that. Even I love that.
Yeah. Was Arkham Origins the one with fuck, I can't remember. It was good.
Prison stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah. I enjoyed all of them. I definitely did enjoy them all. I bought at one point they did a sale with like all of the Arkham series.
All right.
On like next gen. I don't think next gen, but like at least Xbox One. So I've got them all sitting around somewhere to play.
I've got the Batarang from the Arkham Asylum. Where they had Batarang, but that special edition somewhere. But
cool. That's so cool.
I remember Rock Band 2 coming out. No, Rock Band, was it Rock Band? Rock Band 2? Oh, no, Guitar Hero 2 came out. Was it Rock Band? No, it was Guitar Hero 2. I think it was Guitar Hero 2. It doesn't matter. There was a guitar-based game came out, and it was around Easter. It came out, and the store I worked in was closed on the day after, so it came out the day earlier, and I got it, and I went home, and I played it for 13 hours straight, and my hand cramped up when I stopped playing because I'd just been like in that position for so long.
So good.
Just ridiculous. I just had so much fun. It was when I was at uni. I just it was amazing. So much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Loved it.
I've just recently played through like Afro Samurai. That was pretty.
Oh, nice.
That was pretty fun. And the Darkness.
I need to finish the
Darkness. I never finished that, but I remember having fun with it.
The first one was pretty rough. Like it's fun, but it's quite old now. The second one was so good. But the lead singer of Faith No More, Mike Patton, did the voice of the Darkness in the first first one.
He did. Yeah.
I did not know that. Jesus, I should know that.
So yeah, he's the voice of the Darkness in the first one. That's actually the reason that I played the game in the first place was because of him.
Well, that what's it called? The one with Jack Black. Which one is it?
Oh,
Brutal Legend.
Oh, Brutal Legend.
Yeah.
Brutal Legend.
That got pretty repetitive. Like
I haven't
halfway
finished
through.
It.
It got to the tower defense stuff, and I was like, I'm not as big a fan of that. So,
it was really cool at first, and then so it plays kind of like Devil May Cry. So I expected to get like a bunch of upgrades and more complicated combat, and that kind of thing just like never came.
Yeah.
It was kind of a dumbed down.
The games I'm going to play that I do want to play is all the RPGs that were on the 360. So like Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey, Last Remnant, Eternal Sonata, the all Infinite Undiscovery, which is a ridiculous name for a game. But I kind of want to kind of just go through those because they were a big deal. Like, you know, the whole discussion around Japan and Xbox and stuff like that, and they locked in some quite high profile RPGs that just don't exist anywhere else apart from Last Remnant that does exist elsewhere now because they did the remastered stuff, didn't they? But like they don't, you know, Blue Dragon in particular, it's from the original creators of Final Fantasy, as I recall. It's like, get on that. Yeah, just haven't got around to them because again, big games are just
just don't have the time anymore.
I'm looking at my Steam library, and I've actually made an Xbox section. I need to go back and play Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. That
Oh,
I remember seeing
They were
I remember seeing
great
the
games.
trailer for that and just seeing him use force lightning and like lift shit up and throw it at
Yeah.
people. I was like, that's
Dude.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
you pull down the Star
Star
Destroyer
Destroyer.
with
Yeah.
the Force, and it was just like, this is the coolest thing I've done. And,
that was just like fucking mind blowing.
oh,
Those games
Yeah.
are so good. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they're underrated. They
Yeah.
really got like maybe harshly criticized. They're so much fun.
yeah, because
Really great.
the guy who played Starkiller was Darth Maul, wasn't he?
Oh, was
the same-
it?
I think it
I
was the
don't. If
same.
he was, I don't remember.
I think it
Oh,
was
I
the
don't know
same
that.
actor.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but yeah, it was. Yeah, so good, so good. Well, I've just seen the time. Like we've been going for quite a few hours now.
Oh wow,
Three
it's
and a bit
after
hours.
8.
3.5.
Yeah, it's after
three.
8.
We probably should wrap this up
It's
here.
4
Yeah.
a.m. here.
Yeah.
This is definitely gonna get chopped up into 2 separate podcasts.
Oh,
I
it has to be. But we'll leave
Yeah,
that to
yeah.
Nathan. He's doing that. Oh, hello.
Yeah, he can figure out that fucking wizardry.
Oh God, yeah, I'm sort of. I'm not the editor. Oh, who's this?
This is Elton. He.
Ah, amazing.
Hello, buddy.
Elton.
He is the only child in our household, and
Yeah.
he's very spoilt. But he comes in and he's like, I want attention.
Yeah. No, I would say the same about ours. Ours are just 2 bunnies.
Cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do not appear in the they're house rabbits, but we don't. They're not fans of being picked up, and they're not upstairs. So
Yeah.
they've got free roam of the living room though. So you know.
All right. Well, like I reckon we'll just wrap this up here.
Yeah.
And
Any final thoughts about the 360? I suppose almost like an obituary or anything like that. They want to say.
Just what a time.
Yeah,
What
I would say rest in peace to one of the greatest consoles of all time. I mean, if you weren't there and didn't live it,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You missed a great time in gaming.
Yeah.
And I see particularly this year and last year a lot of AA games that are coming out that kind of mimic that style, and I'm glad that there's still some stuff coming out that's like that. I kind of wish AAA would do that a little bit, but I guess it is what it is.
Yeah.
I do feel like the 360 has such an impact on so much. It was such a big deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even from if you don't even think about the sales perspective, the games that appeared on that and the kind of it just amazing console. So much fun with so many people and so many fun memories. Just
of setting up 4 Xboxes and 4 TVs and playing 16-player Halo. Like, what is that?
That's crazy.
What? Yeah.
Also, I have to say that obviously they didn't own them all. Microsoft was fucking ruthless with like the deals that they signed, and I remember when I heard that that Final Fantasy was no longer going to be exclusive, my fucking head almost popped. And I'm not even a big Final Fantasy game buff or anything, but I remember just reading that and being like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah.
Well, you forget Final Fantasy 11 came out on the 360, which is like the online one. It was like, okay, I guess that's happening. And then they didn't bring 12 up, but then 13 did. And
And like a lot of people don't realize it, but like I'm looking at my Xbox 360 titles and things like Dead Rising and the original BioShock, and I think even Oblivion were 1-year timed exclusives on the.
Yes. Yeah, they were.
Back when Microsoft actually gave a fuck about exclusives.
Yeah. So it's a very, very interesting time to be into gaming at the moment.
Yeah.
There's some fucking weird stuff happening.
Also, there's the whole legacy around the console itself, like the whole Red Ring of Death.
Yeah.
Oh God. I don't know how we didn't talk about that. I bought mine a year or two, and they said that they had like figured it out and they were fixing it. So I thought I was safe. I bought it a couple years after release. I wasn't safe. I got the red ring.
I don't think it was safe until the complete console refresh. You know, when the Xbox 360S came out, the black one. I think I don't think it was safe. And even the Elite had Red Ring of Death. So it was just But I remember getting the core because they did. I couldn't get hold of the one with the 20 gig hard drive, so I had to get a core and then buy the hard drive.
Yeah.
And just like that raved to death as soon as I got it home. I thought, out. Well, this isn't a good start. But yeah, it just. But like I remember when I worked again, the PS2 was one of the faultiest consoles I have ever seen. Because it was like the chunky ones, some couldn't play the blue disc, some couldn't play the silver disc, and some couldn't play the gold disc. And like, oh, is it a blue disc because mine can't play that? Like, that's a faulty console. It's just horrendous. Like, people only ever focus on the 360 like the worst console ever made in terms of faults and stuff. And then the PS2 was pretty up there as well.
With the PS2, it was supposed to, when the disc drive started failing, I think the gold ones or yellow ones, whatever you want to call them, were the ones that it was supposed to not read at first. But I don't.
Something to do with the laser, like the compressed disc of the gold ones when it was too much high density for the laser to read it. But then some of them couldn't read the CDs, which are the blue discs. And it was just insane that it was that. Like people going and going, it can't be a blue disc if you sell it to me because I can't play that one. Like, well, then you have a faulty console.
a little piece of like Xbox 360 trivia, and I know this sounds insane on the surface. Y'all can look this up. Even with the if you take into account the Red Ring of Death, Microsoft still lost less money on the Xbox 360 consoles than PlayStation did with the PS3 because of that fucking blue cell chip. That's how much money. That's how much money Sony spent developing that cell blue or blue cell chip. Even with the drama around the Xbox, the Red Ring of Death, they still lost less money than Sony did selling those consoles. I'm just talking the consoles. You can get into the weeds with the games and stuff. Just the consoles themselves, which is kind of insane to think about.
The thing that I mean, with the whole conversation itself, the PS3 thing annoyed me because the 60 gig backwards compatible. They took I don't know if this is true, but they took a $10 part out of it to stop it being backwards compatible. Yeah, and that was it. Like to make the 40 gig. Like, why would you do that? I mean, that's Sony is what they like.
I guess even with because I remember seeing the PS3 announcement and hearing that price tag, and I was like, I'm out. No, I'm not
Looks
paying
like George
that for
Foreman grill.
Yeah, I'm not paying that for a console. And then later, I think it was about 2 years into the 360 life is when I finally got a 360. And I loved my PS2 for what it's worth. I would have gotten a PS3 probably if they weren't fucking $500 and $600 at launch.
Yeah.
That was fucking bonkers.
It was an ugly console as well. Like from just an aesthetic response, like any of the refreshes, they were all ugly consoles. Like the slim and the super slim, like it does not look good.
But Sony taking that $10 part out kind of shows like how much money they spent again on that fucking chip, and they were just like this isn't working. It's way too much money. They literally were just like thinking about any way they could do to save even pennies here and there to drop the price of the thing.
But see, like the Red Ring of Death didn't stop me from going out and buying another Xbox.
No. Absolutely not.
So have all three of us dealt with the Red Ring of Death or no?
Yeah.
So I did the Red Ring of Death. I got a hold of Microsoft. My box was on the way, and I was just like, well, fuck it. And I read about the towel trick. So I was like, I'm not gonna break it open. So the thing was, you could the theory behind it was that the solder was cracking, and that you could wrap it in a towel. And then you could kind of get it to heat back up, and then maybe it would work. I don't know about the science behind that. I do know that I did that a couple of times while I was still waiting for my box, and I'd get it to work again for like, I don't know, an hour, 90 minutes, and then it would go tits up again. And then my box showed up, and I remember the turnaround time not being bad. I think I got a new Xbox from the time that I got a hold of them. I think it took about 10 days, 2 weeks to get another Xbox back from the time that I requested my box. So
so we didn't have anything like that in New Zealand. You just fucking, it's broken.
You just dealt with it.
You just deal with it.
You returned it to the store and they swap you over. That's what we had.
But like it didn't stop. Like it didn't make me go and buy a PlayStation 3.
No.
I just bought another 360. Sure, I bought it. I think I definitely bought it secondhand. My second one.
Well, since you bought the second one secondhand, you still probably spent less money on those two 360s than the fucking PS3 cost at launch. So,
not that you have a good axe to grind about that.
Well, yeah. So I am gonna wrap this up here because like we're getting into like some
Yeah.
really long chatting here. But
Yeah.
I'm a little burned about the PS3 and the PS Vita, by the way, but that's a story for
well
another day.
let's do that next
Obviously.
time. Let's do that
Yeah.
next time. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming to hang out today. It was loads of fun. So good seeing you again, Eddie.
And you as well. It's good to be
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to plug your shit? Are you
Uh, Plug
are you a
shit. I'll
ship?
be doing my Deathbound review. Will be out next week when the embargo lifts.
Yeah.
So look out for that. And I'm on Twitter, as it will always be called, on as oh no not Addy ADDY. And maybe I'll chat with you there.
Yeah, fantastic. Russell.
I'm still on Twitter at FFDpod. Eventually I'll get back on Twitch one of these days and be playing 2D side scrollers, and y'all will be able to see me get pissed off and break controllers probably. I just got to have time to do that, and
Yeah.
there's just a lot going on. So
Fantastic. And yeah, and you can find me at FBomb Gaming with an E. So FBOMBE Gaming. And don't forget to swing past our Gamer Social Club Twitter account, which
definitely.
is gamer_S_C. And also, if you want to check out our website, which is just gamersocialclub.ca. Fuck, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
It's
that's
not.
right.
It's
Yeah,
just CA.
Canada.
Canada.
Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, for all your latest news and reviews. And yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. And we'll see you next time.
Later.
Toodaloo.
See ya.